watch Chat Chat. It's the greatest podcast I've ever seen. Okay, we're gonna sit there and watch it. No, we gotta watch it. No, seriously. No, don't you fall off that building again. Don't you fall off that.
That was like fair!
What is everybody doing? Fucking A. I will say, I think we talked about this before. We're going to do some combat talks today, so people, if we get into argument or something, please do not take it seriously, because you shouldn't take comic books seriously in general.
I mean, you should, but don't sit there and try to stab a motherfucker.
Exactly. But the thing is, though, I do have to bring this up slightly, is that, yeah, man, I think Rachel's a pretty bad character. Now, the thing is, though, it's like some people have argued with me about that, but I want to give you a chance to kind of reiterate, just so, because another thing, too, people can actually base what we're going to talk about later on kind of like a foundation of what you feel about comic books in general. So, why do you defend Rachel? What do you think that was great about her character?
I think at the end of the day, when it comes to, and we literally had this conversation a couple days ago when I saw Dark Knight again, a lot of what happens in the Dark Knight is not like, what separates it from a very typical comic book movie is not like, oh, we gotta put these people in these weird situations. Is everybody in the movie is some version of philosophical character, and Rachel's character is directly tied to Bruce Wayne's character as opposed to Batman's character. So her existing and her essentially being the only person that feels like the actual, like, a real person. Everyone else feels like they're trying to be above everyone else, and then they are for the most part. Like Commissioner Gordon, he's the best cop in the entire GCPD. Harvey Dent, he's the shining beacon of hope in the entire city. You know, Bruce Wayne, billionaire gadget, and Batman, of course, the Joker as well. You have essentially the smallest person is Rachel, but she's the most important because she's the heart of the movie. She's the part of the movie where it's like you have to, not necessarily to consistently protect, but she kind of just shows what the stakes are. And even herself as a character, she cares about what's going on. She cares about every character individually, and is trying to look out for the best for them. And you see that in all of her dialogue and the way she isn't like at all like going, go, Bruce, fuck you, stop doing this. She's like, look, man, I get what you're doing. You're kind of nuts, but I get it.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, man. I'm looking at this, and it's like, I know that people really, really like this character a lot, and same thing with Commissioner Gordon and all the other characters from Dark Knight or whatever. Yeah. And there is some characters within that movie and that trilogy in general that I'm like, man, I wish we would have got more time, because I do like some of the other, aspects of certain characters too, and I'm wondering like what they would do in a situation if given more screen time versus the Joker or Batman. But this is one of those situations too, though. It's like, man, this is during a time where I feel like they didn't really give a shit too much about women. And granted, I'm not saying they didn't do that here with Dark Knight, even though there is some damsel stuff going on. But I think that the Dark Knight came out like maybe 8 years later. She would have probably had a fight scene, dude. Like, I think they would have had something going on. And not like a big choreographed, whatever the fuck fight scene. But I think that she would have been written a lot stronger, and we would have seen like some kind of physical stuff with her.
Oh, she of course suffers from a bit of the damsel situation. I'm not saying that she doesn't. He was even pointing out to a buddy of mine that, boy, did Man of Steel rip off like wholesale scenes, because the scene she's wearing when she says the interrogation with Lau, like about right before, I guess almost right before the Joker really starts doing his thing. Lois Lane is wearing the identical outfit in the interrogation scene of Man of Steel, like exactly the same like vest and white shirt. It's actually kind of funny.
I did not even know that. Yeah, but I mean, then again, once again, I'm not going to pay too much attention to those particular things. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Jet, how are you doing, by the way? I don't know if I give you a link wrong or late or anything, but I just saw you go ding ding like halfway through the show. So what's up? How you doing?
You gave me a trailer to watch after I got out of a deep slumber.
I'm sorry. Man, you know what? We should talk about that trailer right away while people are actually over here hanging out with us, too. One thing before we do this, though, if you guys notice, my thumbnail looks probably a little bit weird on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I cropped it out of this ridiculously shitty-ass official art that came out, dude.
That is the worst fucking... Bro, did you make it? Like, no offense, but did you make that?
No, I didn't. And no offense taken, because that looks like something I would do.
Corey's like, I need you to make a Spiral trailer. Okay, get Samuel Jackson and Chris Rock and... some guy.
Yeah, who the fuck is that, by the way? And God, that...
Sure, I didn't pay attention to the trailer. Like I didn't analyze every frame. Who the fuck is that dude?
Yeah, and here's the thing too: is like I know we haven't seen the movie yet and everything, but like I watched that trailer and that dude looks so upset. Like I almost think he's a killer just because, dude, you are so boring. You have to be in here to like pull a wool over our heads. Like you have to be so boring that people will forget you exist, and then you end up being the killer or something. Because my God. And let's just talk about the trailer in general, dude. I hope people don't get mad in the chat over this one, because I'm the horror guy. I usually defend this stuff. but Jesus Christ, that was a bad trailer, dude.
It wasn't a bad trailer. It was a Saw trailer. This is every fucking one of them. Like, I was going through this, I'm like, oh, okay, we got a bunch of random people and random traps and random jump scares and pigs and, a bunch of people. Like, this is a Saw trailer. Okay, cool. I've seen 19 of these.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, like, Jet, I woke her up from a slumber, and I was, like, giving her a link for this fucking Spiral thing, and her coming in here right now with that voice is so indicative of just what she thought about this. But I gotta give you a chance to explain yourself, Jet. Why do you hate this? Because I know you do.
No, I mean, I don't even watch any of the Saw movies. So it's just like, what the fuck am I gonna say about this? I mean, like, I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, is there a particular reason why? Well, I'm gonna say a particular reason why. Is there a reason why you don't want to watch torture movies? Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm.
That's fair.
And once upon a time, I didn't want to sit there and watch people get tortured. I'm sorry, that's not me.
See, what I'm thinking too. Oh, thank you very much for them likes over there, Gary Eakin. I really appreciate that, dude. But no, the thing is though, is like as I look at this, I feel like once again, people, the yellow. Look, and I know, like, people like, Guillermo del Toro does this. I brought this up recently when we were talking about, like, the Ghost of Tsushima movie and who should direct it or who I would have chosen instead of the person they chose. And I was like, well, I like when some people do, like, yellow versus blue or yellow versus, like, a dark shade of whatever. But this, like, I think most of this movie is going to be, like, the detective work and just, like, the day-by-day of what's going on with these cops. And look at that horrible yellow. Like, there's,
is
like,
this in L.A. or New Mexico?
No, LA, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it's
you
LA.
can tell the fucking you can tell what area of the world you're in based on the fucking random Instagram filter they want to put on.
Yeah, like I really hate this, man. Oh, thank you once again, Gary, for supporting us so much. He's hosting us right now. Super appreciate that. And to bring this up too, it's like even like inside, like look at that, like the fucking everyone looks sweaty. You look like okay. So here's another thing too, and I don't know if this is the case whether in Canada and some other places, but in Arizona. Around 3 to 4 o'clock, there's this very depressing brown that happens because of our sun. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, but just the idea of you just describing around 3 o'clock just gets depressing.
Yeah, because like there's like this really awful like right before, because like at 5 o'clock it gets kind of nice and like the lights go down and it's like ooh, it's getting close to nighttime, blah blah blah. But it's like there's a brown that I'm like, oh, there's like 1 hour of the day that just fucking sucks because of that look. It's almost like it reminds me of traffic, it reminds me of getting home. Just being upset that my day sucked. You know what I mean? And I'm looking over here, and like this whole movie is in that color. I don't know if that's supposed to make me like it more because it's like, oh well, you're supposed to feel depressed because the Jigsaw guy's killing people, and the cops are dying.
I think what it reminds me of, like, I don't know. Again, I really don't know anything about Spiral, so everything I'm just guessing is from how from what I know from other movies. Is this set in like the 80s?
It could, but then. I don't know, like, they ain't do.
Oh, no, they know the Jigsaw Killer, he's old, never mind, because I'm like, this reminds me of Predator 2 for some fucking reason.
Dude, I was gonna say the same fucking thing. Oh my god, dude. And then, like, everyone looks like they've never seen air conditioning in their life. Everyone's
yeah, like, air conditioning just stopped working in LA. That's why I kind of said the 80s. I'm like, oh, is this like Predator 2? But, like, no, they show an older photo of Jigsaw, so it has to be at least somewhat of a sequel to them. But it's such a weird...
Those people, by the way, I like that name, and thank you very much for subscribing. Nice. And Meister saying, love this pre-show. Thank you so much. I think you're over there from YouTube. Hopefully you guys are not too thrown off by just the idea that, like, I'm posting this on Double Toast's YouTube page, but it does let you guys know when you start on Twitch, so, sorry about that, but at the same time, you're welcome. But what were you about to say, though? I'm sorry to interrupt you and shit.
It's just a bunch of, the imagery. That's why I'm, like, wondering, like, they're showing a lot of images, like, oh, yeah, they show Jigsaw when he's old, so this will be some version of a sequel, but it's like, there's so many things here that scream this is supposed to be 80s, but then again, I'm clearly wrong, but at the end of it, it's like, you're like, man, I'm surprised that Jet didn't even, like, randomly because of a friend or some bullshit saw one Saw movie. But it's like, you see one, you see them all, you get the basic stick. But they made like 8 of those, and they ran that idea into the ground. That's why they're not calling this Saw. It might as well be called a fucking Spiral, a Saw story, because like that's what they're going for. Where it's like the whole Solo and fucking Fast and Furious type bullshit. So it's like, oh, we're gonna switch the name up so that people don't sit there and be like, oh, it's Saw. I'm not gonna sit through that bullshit again. And try to rectify by using Sam Jackson. Is Sam Jackson supposed to be Chris Rock's father or some shit?
Yeah, essentially that's what they're kind of alluding to. And I also think he's going to be another one of those things where it's like, hey, maybe we have 2 big surprises where Samuel Jackson is a killer. Why are we focusing so much on his pictures? Meanwhile, it's just him saying, "What's up?"
My ass was just literally when this scene came up in the movie. I was just like, "Is that Samuel L. Jackson?" No, it can't be. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, they just gave him a mustache, and all of a sudden, he looks like a completely different fucking person.
Well, because again, they realized, oh shit, these guys look almost the same age, and you can almost argue that Chris Rock looks older than Sam Jackson in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think someone wants the link.
Okay, I'll give him a link right now too. But no, one thing to bring up too, just looking at this as well, you're saying like, yeah, like if this is a sequel, this is a whatever. Well, I don't even think it's somewhat connected to any of the cinematic stuff because over here it says Spyro from the book of Saw. Oh, I don't know. I didn't even know I could do that. By the way, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to highlight it. How fucking hard it is to highlight on YouTube. Anyways, right here, guys. God damn it, Book of Saw. So. You know, I don't know how different, you know, the source material is versus this, whatever, but, like, dude, like, I'm curious to see if it's going to be that different because those movies were trash and maybe it does need a reboot, but they just attempted that shit the other year with Jigsaw. Because remember that whole movie?
Oh, Jigsaw, I literally have, that's the only one I haven't seen. Well, that and the first one.
Yeah, but, oh, yeah, I can't believe you didn't watch the first. That's the only one that's fucking good. Unbelievable.
The second one's pretty good.
I mean, it's all right, I guess, but it's like, man, after that, it became such a gore fest too. And it's like, I know it sounds crazy for me, but it's just like, dude, like,
yeah.
I fucking, I don't like gory shit and torture. I cannot stand that. Like, Hostel does that.
Well, yeah, I seen one Hostel, and I figured that was enough.
Yeah, like Eli Roth is the guy who did Hostel, and he was like, oh, I do these movies because of Sam Raimi, and I do this because, you know, some other people that I've watched, and it's like, well, that's fine and everything, but like, you took it so far where it's like, what they did was they did something creative with it, and they kind of, you know, have so many layers as far as like, oh, I like this because of this reason, this reason, this reason.
Yeah.
With Hostel, it's like, there's no story, there's no character, there's no.
No, there is. It's just fucking stupid. So for Saw, it's like, okay, for basically the premise of Saw is a lot of these people are fucked up backgrounds. He's trying to help them out by putting them in life and death situations because he wanted to kill himself, but he ended up surviving that car accident and he got the will to live. So it's like, well, I'm going to put other people in these death-defying situations because if they survive, they'll have a renewed view on life. Hostel is just, let's just torture people for, you know, the entire fucking movie. But the trailer for the second one is like one Canadian is worth like 2 minutes or whatever the fuck. It became like an organ harvesting fucking plot because they realized they're like, well, we have to make more of these movies, but we can't just torture people for no fucking reason. Oh no, they're going for organs.
Yeah, and it's just a weird fucking thing for me where it's like, you know, because another movie does this recently too. I think it was called American Hunt. It's a very small B movie type fucking thing that came out.
I feel like I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like the only review that I did for oneofus.net, which that's, you know, for those of you that are following Double Toast all the time, that's Chris Cox, aka Cyrus from Spill. That's his website. So I did the review for those guys, and yeah, dude, like one thing about that movie that I feel like was really annoying is like they just throw away that particular reveal of like, oh yeah, we're doing this because we're selling teeth and we're selling bones, we're selling meat and everything. But anyways, let's move on because there's a killer chasing after us. It's like, wait, hold on, like these guys should not be like dumb and easily like defendable against when they've been doing this for so long. Like this is their business. This is how they, you know. And by the way, so no cops came through here, so no one else was like, hey, what the fuck, you guys are selling. Like when you sell something, you gotta like package it and fucking like. Like what's the middleman? Like how does that work? But it's like, oh, I'm just evil, so just accept it. Like fuck you.
Some dude in a pig mask just answers all your questions.
Yeah, and then like on top of that too, like I gotta be creepy, so I gotta wear a pig mask. Like, can we get an explanation why you?
What was the pig mask?
Yeah.
Like I never understood that because you see it a bunch of times. I think it was supposed to be like because like was horse head imagery or pig head imagery was just creepy because of course it is. But like they just stuck with it. There's no legitimate reason for it. It just shows up in like one of the movies, and I guess it was an effective scare tactic, so they just kept it.
I'm gonna read a couple YouTube comments really quick. Meister G saying the first one was better. No one saw that twist coming. Yeah, that was a pretty big twist. I like the pun. I love puns in general, but yes, like that was a great twist. And also Crimson Spice 72 is saying sorry, late to the party. It's all good. I'm gonna reiterate for you really, really quick here. I know people might be getting sick of fucking hearing it, but. We are part of Double Toasted, but we are at the pre-show. We do this every single day on Twitch. They're going to be starting possibly around 20 minutes right now. They're going to be reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong, and they're going to be talking to Chris Stuckman today. So hang out with us until they start, and I'll let you know when that happens. You can go over there and enjoy that DT goodness. But, and before I continue on too, Ganja, what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm getting hyped for this fucking monkey movie. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about Saw, so that sounds racist as fuck. God damn. People, pay attention.
You know, Nick, if you didn't say anything, it wouldn't have looked as bad because you just finished talking about the gods of. Actually, no, it's terrible. What am I saying?
Yeah, no.
The gods of Egypt?
No.
Yes, gods of Egypt.
It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. Just paying attention.
That's all. I'm a gods of Egypt. So the problem with gods of Egypt is
He mentioned King Kong, and my mind went straight. Giant monkey fucking up lizards. I'm ready.
But a bit ago, I had like Chris Rock on screen.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
I was an innocent little boy hyped about a monkey fighting a lizard.
The only reason why I say anything to you is just like in case someone does notice that, I want to like put it out there right now. He didn't mean anything by it. He thought we're talking about a movie that we're not talking about because he's Ganja Guru. His name says it all, guys. So fucking A. But moving on about this fucking movie.
Yes.
I will say that, yeah, dude. I'm willing to be fair. I want to see how this is gonna fucking pan out. I do think though that this is gonna be one of those situations like, ooh, like all we have here is a twist. Don't tell me no spoilers, because another thing too with these horror movies, these investigative ones, they live and die by that fucking twist. Like, and I like M. Night Shyamalan sometimes too, dude. But like the Sixth Sense,
he's the worst.
Yeah, like I like Sixth Sense, but like, dude, you can't. There's no reason to watch that movie more than once. You know what I mean? Like, that movie dies as soon as you know what happens at the end of that movie. Like, I always make fun of Alan about comic book movies or whatever, of like, hey, don't tell me not to tell you spoilers. But it's like, those movies are enjoyable knowing the spoiler. There is nothing enjoyable about M. Night Shyamalan shit. Even if you're a fan of him, it's just like, dude, as soon as you fucking watch the movie, it's over. You know, throw that DVD away. Can you imagine back in the day, like, when you want to see a movie and you don't know if it's going to be good or not, and you buy that DVD, and if you don't like it, it just sits there looking at you for the rest of your life.
That was the thing back then, when trailer culture and the internet culture wasn't as vibrant. You basically were like, you couldn't really say a spoiler on, like, the news or whatever, because it's like, oh, hey, you have this radio talk show where you talk about movies sometimes. You're allowed to talk about the movie, but you can't talk about anything that might take away revenue. So, oh, this movie is great. It was scary and yada yada. And everyone's well, I gotta buy it because the radio said it was good.
NDAs too, where you can like say it or not, you get in trouble and get sued up the ass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would destroy, and then some people would buy it, like, well, this looks good. M. Night Shyamalan's a good name, and then they would either watch it and like it, or watch it, I think it was garbage, and you didn't really have much of a return policy. So that was it.
Yeah. Jojo Cat said, N.I. is a hack. Yeah.
Goddamn fucking right. That man has made like 2 good movies. Sixth Sense is not that good. Signs is fucking stupid. I've never watched The Village, but I heard nothing but bad. The Happening is one of the worst movies ever fucking made. The Lady of the Water does not seem that fucking good. After Earth is an embarrassment to everybody involved. The only really decent movies he made was The Village and was The Visit and Split.
Dude, by the way, I'm glad you fucked that up because I always fuck those 2 movies up. I always get Visit and Village mixed up. Because like one time I was talking to somebody.
I don't blame you.
So one time recently, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, like one of our After Hours nights or something like that. I was talking about M. Night Shyamalan, and I brought up like, oh man, The Village was great. You know, with those old people, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like that movie's terrible. And like, what? And I was defending the fuck out of it, and then they're like, dude, everything you're saying has nothing to do with that movie. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, The Visit. But yeah, dude.
Unbreakable sucks. That entire point that Nick's making about the twist is like, I'll give it this. The twist is the most interesting part of that movie, but that movie is dreadfully dull.
Well,
by the way,
I'll give Unbreakable one thing though, is that it was universe building. It's like, okay, like if someone else was doing something good with these stories or whatever and continued like coming out with them, Unbreakable would have been great. But
it was universe building. It built the glass, and that movie fucking sucks.
But imagine if Glass was good. We would all go back and be like, man, thank you, Unbreakable. You're the shit.
Yeah,
But it wasn't.
Imagine if Glass was good. Fuck.
I mean, yeah. No, because me and Jet watched it together, and I don't know what point, Jet, that you were just like, dude, can you please turn this fucking movie off? Because like that was.
I didn't say it turned off, but like if we're already going through it. I'm just more like, this shit needs to wrap the fuck up because this is boring. I can't stand it, and it's stupid.
Yeah, dude.
It's not even the fun stupid either. It's just like plain ass, oh my god, this is boring. I'm not having any fun watching this.
It had cool ideas. It had great stuff that it could go for. But the fact that this dude's been doing this for 20 years, but apparently a 45-minute conversation with a random person makes him question his entire life, it's unbelievably fucking stupid. He should have been the one person in the room going, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm super strong. You just keep spraying me with water. That's why I can't break out. Like, he should be consistently like, I know. It's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And then it's like, as the audience, because you know he's telling the truth, we saw a whole movie, it should have been more focused on the bad guys teaming up, as the trailer kind of sold it on, because that trailer is fantastic. That trailer sells it like this fucking cool-ass villain movie. And then you watch it, it's this boring-ass fucking, I don't know who even fucking wrote that. The twist is fucking stupid. The twist is so bad that it didn't feel like an ending twist. It felt like a halfway through the movie twist.
And what we're going to do really quick, too, I want to bring up one thing because this particular person came up. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about linking these 2 movies. But, you know, you got Samuel Jackson over here, and this is one of the things I want to... Oh, thank you, Trinity? I like that name. It's different, but
Trinity.
I wish I knew how to.
That name is trendy.
Yeah.
Trinity.
But I will say though, looking over here, one of the things I want to discuss really quick is just like putting people that don't belong in certain types of, like writing atmosphere, movie atmosphere. Samuel L. Jackson, him being stuck to that wheelchair, I'm sorry, I was laughing. And I don't laugh at wheelchair people or anything, but it's just like...
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Did you click that shit too? Did you click that shit too?
No, because Gary's been fucking posting that shit for like 3 days. Just another phone. Oh, no.
Okay, well, context, gotcha.
No, it's just a stupid Gary shit. Because I just heard you wheeze, and usually when you laugh and you sound like a tea kettle, that means you saw some shit in the chat. So I was wondering if me and you had a shared mind moment where you both clicked that link at the same time.
No, I'm just laughing because like what Alan says, like, do you laugh at wheelchair people? And I'm like, no, but then I'm looking over here and I'm like, fuck, I'm laughing at Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I like Samuel. Yeah, again, you're full of shit. I love you, but fuck you. Don't lie to me. You might be able to lie to them, but you can't lie to me.
Well, the biggest thing too is like, because like for me, he didn't fit in this. Like the fact that we got Samuel L. Jackson talking about comic books. Like, I'm sorry, not to make fun of comic book fans or anything too, because I know there's some in the chat. It's just like this grown ass man that I've seen in so many fucking movies before that he's a badass. He's like, yeah, I draw comic books. My mom gets mad at me. Nah. It was hilarious. And then like I'm looking over here, that also made me laugh. Chris Rock's acting, dude, he cannot, like, it's almost like that Seinfeld episode where it's like, you cannot
be serious.
Yeah, you cannot not be funny. Like, he's yelling like, we need to get the police over here right now.
Oh, I am so glad you fucking said that, because I remember you gave me so much shit when I was watching Fargo season 4, and I thought we were talking about the trailer, and I was like, yeah, he really can't be serious. It's really hard for him. You're like, it's almost like he's the most, like, one of the biggest comedic actors ever. And I'm like, he's really not good at being serious. Like, well, you should give him a chance. And now you're the one talking shit too.
Yeah, like at this point, man, because I was like, okay, let me give it another chance for another trailer, but we'll see. Man, this is not looking good, bro. Like, he's just like, I want to know what is going on over here. Everyone's getting hurt. I don't know where the cops are at. Where are all my friends?
What's the deal with that? Oh shit, no, that's a comedy. Like I get, like, again, you can kind of pull it off, and clearly he's trying to reinvent his career. Between Fargo and this, he's trying his best to break out from that. But it's like the mannerisms you have must be like a huge part of your personality. It's like the opposite with me. It's like, I can't be the jokey comedian. I'm not good at that. I can be serious. I can say dumb shit. But at the end of the day, you're gonna see the serious core. With him, it's like he has a funny core. It's like, it sucks because, like, look, I like people wanting to branch out, but it's not working. Yeah,
man. And by the way, so I've brought this up before, not to like bring up when we were wrong or when I was wrong or whatever, but I just kind of want to bring this up. And if you guys can give me some other context so you guys can tell me, but I'm looking over here on the YouTube thingy. It says Spiral stars Chris Rock, Max Minghella, other people, and it's produced by the original Saw team, and film is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman and written by Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger. Now, I thought that Chris Rock was not only producing this, but I could have sworn he wrote this. Like,
no, I think you're confusing Danny McBride, like, because he wrote and did all the shit for Halloween.
Okay.
Chris Rock was working on it, but I don't think he was writing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of with Nick on this one. I remember the hype around the media was like, "Oh, Chris Rock is making a horror movie directed and written by Chris Rock." So what happened? That he just ended up like kind of like letting the other creatives take over more and more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe they can you like credit somebody else? Like, if you're working on something, can you be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just say that somebody else did it? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, Tim Burton does it all the time.
Okay, yeah.
That hack.
Marissa says he did produce it. Okay, so that makes sense. And I mean, granted, if if I'm wrong, then hey, well, that's not crazy for us. But
well, at the end of the day, no, because it came out around the same time as Danny McBride was doing all the stuff for the Halloween 2018, the reboot, remake, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then at the same time, this was announced. Spiral's like, oh yeah, Chris Rock's also doing it. Where are they? Oh, comedians being horror stuff. And I think what it is they probably just did it in the titles because they want to do the same like hype train that it was
like
with
the Jordan Peele shit, where it's like even if he has nothing to do with something,
too.
put his name on it.
Exactly that too. So they're like, oh, let's just roll this all up in the same thing, so we could have it all in the same title to get more clicks. It's probably that's why it was really confusing.
Yeah, but no, but like that's the thing, because I was about to say I'm glad I read that, but I was like, I bet Chris Rock is spending a lot of money on this, and that's why they're not telling him, hey, dude, the acting's not good. Because I'm almost like looking at this like, is this one of the situations where someone's working on their own shit, and they're just like, wow, I did a good job, huh, guys? Cut. No more needing to fucking film here.
No, they know they can sell it off of them. If this movie has to be a piece of shit, they'll sell it on Samuel Jackson and Chris Rock. I keep wanting to say Chris Tucker. I always said that as a kid. Like, I know the difference between the two, but I keep wanting to say Chris Tucker every time I talk about Chris Rock.
Yeah, Gary, I'm not gonna click on there, buddy. Maybe at the very end of the show or something. Because Chris Rucker, stupid ass rhyme. No, but,
Rucker, pretty much, yeah.
by the way, has Chris Tucker done anything serious? I know we're like all over the place, but like, has Chris Tucker done
No.
anything serious before? No.
Has he done any movies? The last one I could think of is Rush Hour 3. Has he
Dude,
done anything since?
He found God, bro. You gotta give him a chance. You know, he's
Nothing good. I hope he's eating at the end of the day. But I don't know a single goddamn thing you've been in like 10 years.
Oh, Jackie Brown, kind of, but he even died funny though, because he's like,
Jackie
"Come on,
Brown?
Samuel Jackson, let's go outside, man. Come on, yeah, you know, we can go somewhere." And he's like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up, let's go." He's like, "All right, man, I want to be in the truck, man." And then he shoots him, and I'm just like, bro, like, I feel bad. I don't want Chris Tucker to die because I knew him as Smokies, and oh, he was in Dead Presidents though. Dead Presidents is serious.
Okay.
Do you remember this, by the way? Dead Presidents?
I remember the trailer, I think.
Oh, guys, this is a great fucking movie, dude. Like, I actually love this movie a whole lot. But yeah, this is actually pretty. Oh, and Silver Linings Playbook. That's another movie.
Oh, that's pretty recent, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, Marissa. Yeah, thank you. All right, so that makes sense.
But it's still been a while for a lot of these people because it's like, yeah, you're the comedy kind of lead, and after a while, comedies don't really come out as often because most of them suck.
Yeah, but really quick though, so we're done with
I
that
blame
one.
the internet for that, by the way.
We blame the
What?
internet for what?
Yeah, I don't think because of the internet we're gonna ever get really like hardcore comedy movies anymore. Like, I'm really interested to see how this new Seth Rogen comedy film is gonna do, because a lot of the humor and a lot of like the sketch types, a lot of the movie like premises, you can get now from like online shows or even like long run TV shows. There's no reason to make a theatrical release. Like, I think honestly, if they made Superbad today, it'd probably be a TV show.
No, they did. It's called Booksmart.
There you go. And then that was what most nowadays will probably be released directly to Vimeo. I don't see them really becoming big hits in theaters anymore. I don't think anyone's gonna go to the movie theater, sit down and watch Animal House style films anymore.
I don't know. I will say that like 2019, they had that fucking movie with those 3 kids that are all like 10 to 12 years old, and they're like, "Hey, I found Mom's dildo."
Oh, Boys or Good Boys or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck
Good
it was
Boys.
called?
I forgot about that movie completely.
Yeah,
I just never saw it. It looked terrible.
It was like
there's
it was like cuties for young boys instead of young girls. Like that's what it was. It was like weird because like why are these little boys sucking dildos and shit and like, you know?
Well, there's a good reason for it. Like, the movie didn't make well. Like, that was actually the big sign of like, hey, these movies aren't going to be making well in the theaters anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Booksmart did well because guess what? It was actually pretty well written and actually intelligent and spoke to a generation, much like Superbad did. But at the end of the day, it's like people just fucking, goddamn, I'm getting spam calls all fucking day.
What
the fuck?
Yeah. By the way, is your ringtone like someone being tortured?
No, it's the evil Morty theme from Rick and Morty.
You must
fucking love that
terrify
theme.
all
It's
your
great.
coworkers when that shit goes off.
Actually, really quick about that. You know, there's a new season or new trailer for season 5 apparently.
I couldn't care less.
Wait, do you not like you know, like what?
Between the Dan Harmon fucking allegations and how bad season 4 was, I'm not watching that show anymore. Like, go fuck yourself. Between the fucking videos and all the bullshit that was going on around him, to the literal incest child molestation orgy that occurs in season 4, I'm not watching that show anymore. That entire season was complete trash. That entire last season was complete fucking garbage. Season 3 was pretty good. That was fantastic. It's probably the best season the show ever had. Season 4 was just bad. There's not a single thing that was interesting or funny. All the shit that was happening with one of the creators, it felt like, oh, separate the art from the artist. No, when you start seeing a lot of the artists fucking shitty, really, really offensive comedy being a part of the fucking show, and it's getting to the point where it's like, you're not separating anymore. He's too powerful, and I'm out.
Yeah, fucking sucks. I didn't know too much about this.
Yeah, he's got my gut.
He's what?
I say he's got my gut. That's how my shit looks. My teeth just resting on my belly and shit, making the advertisement bigger.
Yeah, I guess so, right? By the way, I've seen shirts now that they have the fucking like wide logos, and like the left and right sides of the logos are actually like, because I guess they think only fat people are gonna wear them. So if a normal
You want
person
to wear a
wears them,
t-shirt that looks like you got titties, but you don't got titties?
yeah, but like the thing is, like the people that wear them though are, you know, normal sized people. Not to say it's normal to be not fat, but like the logo actually goes like to their underarms because those shirts are not made for all sizes. So like when the logo's so wide, you can't see anything but the middle of it. It's like watching, you know, when they first did like full screen and widescreen DVDs. It's like that. It's like someone zoomed the fucking movie and you can't see what the fuck.
Just grab that shit like a Looney Tunes commercial and just stretched it.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to see what was going on with this though. But you know, I don't know. I mean, basically, he just said apologizes for sexual harassing Megan Grands and all those people. But yeah, go ahead.
I can agree
Oh,
with
yeah, of course.
comes to what Alan's point is, as someone who was a huge fan of the Rick and Morty first 2 runs. That's the 3rd season. Like that first episode, I know a lot of people loved it, but I was kind of on the fence with it because a lot of the things that they were setting up to be like interesting story plot lines, they kind of threw that out the fucking window with that first episode, and then it kind of went back to, hey, we're just gonna be like the Simpsons sci-fi Back to the Future kind of thing we were doing like in the first season, and like all the real like deep character development kind of felt like it was rushed towards the end, and a lot of the characters that were developing in certain ways, kind of like in a more humanity way, they go right back to the revert of like cynical asshole. And I think because the show confuses like either the show confuses like this, or some of the more head writers like Dan Harmon as well as the other guy, I think they confuse a lot of like cynical intelligence as humor or as like really intelligent thinking. And what I mean is like being hardcore cynical makes you more on the ball somehow than just being someone who has a positive outlook. And a lot of Rick and Morty stuff is very guilty of that, where anyone that has like a hopeful or idealistic look just gets shit on, or throughout the episode it kind of just gets attacked by Rick. But originally during the story run, it was trying to show that this is because the character itself was broken. But throughout season 4, it was just Rick just being a fucking asshole for the sake of Rick being a fucking asshole. I remember I forget the one where they basically hang out with the Guardians of the Galaxies.
Oh, that's season 3. I hate that. That's legitimately my most hated episode.
And essentially, you're supposed to get like an enjoyment out of it because, like, hey, this is Rick trying to be an asshole because he wants Morty to hang out with him and he doesn't like his tension towards Morty. But you just seen the character Rick develop way past this. This is like some season 1 episode shit that you should be doing. Like that, it doesn't know how to progress, and it doesn't know if you want to be the Simpsons, where the characters don't change over time because every episode is its own individual universe or its own season. Whereas they've showed us like, no, these episodes are canon. Things are and this universe are affected by it, except when we don't care. So it's pretty much just what it wants to do, and I understand that like, hey, it's a comedy at the end of the day, and comedies can play loose with their canon or their theme. But when they start like my thing, like the Family Guy and the American Dad was also starting to do this, but they changed it again. Good for the show doing that, but they just start making the characters real fucking assholes.
Yeah,
where you don't love them or care for them anymore, and any sense of like, oh, there's maybe a sense of humanity in there that I can attach myself to. They're not. They're just skits. They're skit people that jump from every skit personality. You should might as well be watching an anime version of Saturday Night Live, which how exaggerated these personalities are.
Well, the thing is, a lot of what you're saying is more of season 4. Season 4 to me, like it's like everything they built up in season 3. Because season 3 is my favorite season because you developed a lot of the characters. You develop Rick and Morty's personalities, and you develop their like the Pickle Rick episode, funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh, it's a meme, ha ha ha. That entire, you know what the message at the ending of that episode was? He talks to a fucking therapist and goes, "You're just doing this because you'd rather hide from your feelings and your abandonment issues than actually try to deal with them. So you turn yourself into a fucking pickle and gallivant it on because that's safe for you." And it's like, wait, what?
That's actually
we did this stupid, with the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Literally the stupidest shit you've ever seen. He literally like makes himself like a mech suit and has a choreographed fight scene with rats. Dumbest shit in the world. Then a therapist sits him down and breaks him down as a character. Or the fucking Evil Morty episode, where it's just like, yeah, we should treat people with respect and we should actually like try to work with each other. Fuck where we came from. It's about what we're gonna do with the future. And then he turns to an evil dictator, and it's like that was like what made the show really interesting to me. Season 4 is I hate magic, so magic's stupid. Here's an entire episode of how magic is stupid. Or hey, dragons are weird, so let me fuck a dragon, but then also make out with my grandson. I'm not kidding.
Well, Mike, that's another thing. That's what we're talking about. Like, Maury's dad was supposed to be like a representative, like the Bumblebee dad character, and like for around season 2 and like the beginning of 3, you kind of get the idea of like, hey, yeah, he's kind of an idiot, but he has like that Homer Simpson effect where he's lovable, he like cares about his family, he loves his wife. But as season 4 develops, it's like they don't know what they're going to do with the Beth and his relationship. They constantly make it a antagonistic force that reminds me of Peter and Lois. Which, if anyone keeps watching the show, I don't know how they're still a couple still. If it wasn't for the fact that they're making a lot of money on Fox, and Seth MacFarlane has this idea of he's going to be the next, Matt Groening with the long-lasting show on Fox Network, it doesn't make any sense in terms of people who would enjoy the show and watch these characters develop, or even watch them come stagnant like The Simpsons and just see them go through interesting stories and timelines over and over again. I don't know what Rick and Morty is going to be. I'm gonna check out an episode because like you gotta, especially as our reviewers, we gotta like let you know what we think and we gotta check it out. But as my own personal interest, I'm not as hyped as I was. Plus, you got a lot of the fanboy shit that kind of turned off a lot of people.
That fucking Szechuan sauce shit. That was the peak of everything. I think the fan base peaked at that point and it's just gone downhill ever since.
Yeah.
And plus, it's also be pimping the shit out of Rick and Morty.
It's just funny that they peaked, as far as interest, but man, did their fucking like intelligence just fucking collapsed. Like just
oh yeah,
my
100%.
God.
Because again, one of the things that I loved about the show was it was like an R-rated Futurama in a lot of cases, where it's like it had a lot of incredible, intelligent writing, and in some cases extremely decent moral messages. One of my favorite episodes was the toxin episode, and it was like, oh yeah, go to this area and we'll get rid of all your negative traits. But then it turns out it kind of split their personality, so you had the extreme positive and extreme negatives. But then you realize like the whole moral of that episode is the good and the bad parts of you combined are make your personality. You can't get rid of the bad parts without changing who you are. So you have to learn to accept the negative parts, the negative toxic traits of who you are in order to become a better person. That's the whole point of that episode. It's some dumb bullshit. It's a bunch of whatever. Then by the end of the episode, you're like, oh wow, that actually had a pretty decent moral message tied into this weird, goofy sci-fi shit.
Someone said, isn't one of the writers from Rick and Morty writing on Doctor Strange right now? By the way, answer that. And also talk to the chat because I'll be right back. Corey is now calling me. And you guys can see Corey very, very soon. I'll be right back.
See, I kind of agree with I want to say Jerko Joe Cat, but like South Park. My thing, I'll give this credit to South Park, and this is something that a lot of shows aren't willing to do, even The Simpsons disregard. And I'm using The Simpsons as a litmus test because it's been around for fucking 25 years in terms of animated TV shows. Yeah. Like there's motherfuckers that have lived and died that show. So when it comes to like, let's say South Park, I enjoy it in the sense that they at least have the character dynamics change with the generations of the kids. Like I never feel like the South Park kids are just Matt and Trey Groening trying to be like 50-year-olds hanging out in a fucking 13-year-old body. And I noticed even like certain character develops, like the Kyle character has really developed into a more of a kind of like the hypocritical liberal type. You got Stan, who's more of a centrist, and you got Cartman, which is going to, depending on how the country goes, might be a full-blown KKK member at the end of the fucking season.
Chaotic evil.
Yeah, he's chaotic evil. He's parodies of everything bad going on in this country. You didn't think he was going to be a fucking Trump supporter. You're fucking out of your mind. And they jump on that shit. And like at least the characters are changing with the dynamic of the universe that interacts with it, and they're constantly making commentary of the stuff that we see to our daily day basis. That's where I would give South Park's credit. Now, do I think that it suffers from a lot of things in terms of what I just mentioned earlier, where sometimes episodes do feel like I'm just listening to like two old like not hypocrites, two nihilistics, people that grew up in Colorado trying to make an animated TV show, and it's not actually like trying to express what quote unquote kids of this day would express. And it's just honestly at that point just a propaganda tool for them to propose their libertarian ideas. But that's for another show another time. Go check that out on the Metropolis. But honestly, I don't see like South Park disappearing because it at least stays on the ball. It constantly updates the characters with the interactions that people are going to be having in their daily life, and it's not afraid to push the envelope for good or bad. Like I hate some of the episodes because of the way they push the envelope. I love certain episodes because of the way they push the envelope, and that's honestly when it comes down to artistic creativity. I just hate it when people use South Park as their litmus test so they can do like blackface and there's no like humor towards it. That's my only problem really with South Park in a sense is like one man Trey's crazy shit, and then some of the fan base is like, oh, now I can do like Carlos Mencia type skits, and I'll be like, oh, it's fine because South Park did it. No, like let other creators create. If you're just doing a copycat shit, you should be called out for your copycat shit, especially when it sucks.
Yeah, Lion Lightning, what's up, dude? How you doing, too? So I think that apparently our Facebook is kind of fucking up, so everyone just kind of move to Twitch or YouTube if you guys can. That'll be one of those things. One thing I want to talk about as far as Ganja, what he brought up and what Alan's been saying for a lot of these things, too, a lot of these discussions, is, pushing the envelope. I will say that, like, and someone in the chat said this too about Family Guy. They're like, who still watches Family Guy? And I'm thinking, like, do you always have to pull or push the envelope no matter what, like, as far as these shows goes? Because you can do that for 20 seasons, and I don't think you should always feel like you can do 20 seasons. If there's something you can kind of write still, might as well do it and get some money. You know what I mean?
My favorite is E-Mike. I'm glad you brought this up. He asked Alan if he's seen Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is actually a really great animation series. Honestly, I put it up there with a lot of the old stuff from Saturday Night cartoons, as well as some stuff that you see from the major theatric releases. And it's because it had a plan, like what you just mentioned. He didn't want to make 25 seasons of Gravity Falls. He had, I think it was 4 season runs. He had the books planned out. He had all the major character plot lines developed to a certain level before they actually started producing the show. Yeah. It was open and closed right before they actually opened and closed it for the audience. So everything that would have been fucked up later on, like say they did a season 16 for no fucking reason, they at least got it done in season 4 and was able to have it nicely wrapped and tight. And I think that's why Gravity Falls is so rememberable and so many people love it and want to come back because it ended right. it didn't continue to try to make money. Hell, the dude could keep make episodes. Disney offered to him. He said, "No, I want to go move on to other things."
At the end of the day, when you have these long runs, it's like you have it for so long, people are going to get tired of it. Not necessarily because it's bad, but it changes. It changes per generation. The Simpsons I grew up with isn't the Simpsons that's now. It's for a different generation that watches. Like I probably wouldn't be able to recognize the show if I watched it now.
Shoot, in 10 years, because now they're aging the characters up. So Homer wasn't born in the 60s anymore. He was now a teenager in the 90s, and he was born in the 80s. So, like, if this keeps up, every 10 years, the Simpsons are going to change age to the point like, oh, goddamn, I'm now Homer's age. Oh, no.
I'm about to say I'm older than Homer. Would that be fucking weird? He's just born the same age I is. But, yeah, it changes per generation, and it's like, at the end of the day, like, I've always preferred Simpsons over Family Guy because I feel like, and it's literally the clear difference between me and Gandha's taste in comedy is Family Guy's always about the gross out humor, nudity, adult comedy, and Simpsons is like it dwelled in that, but it's more family friendly, almost everyday kind of bullshit. So that to me I found way funnier because it was like almost low stakes. It's like low stakes comedy. Like no one's gonna sit there and lose their entire livelihood. They're just gonna have like a shitty day. With like Family Guys, like people are dying left and right, and like people losing their jobs and shit, and it's like really
sexual shit too. Like I remember like American Dad, where like the daughter has to be.
Well, American Dad is terrible.
Yeah,
American Dad
subjectively
got better
it's like,
later on.
Well, subjectively, it's like I don't want to say it's terrible because I know people in chat will be like, "Hey, hold on a minute." But the thing is, though, it's like,
hey, hold on a minute.
I'll fight a motherfucker. It was like the worst of Family Guy, where it's like even more.
That shit was actually funny, especially later as it went on.
Yeah, there's a moment where like after the first season, American Dad was like, "Yo, we're gonna become our own thing. Like, let's stop trying to be fucking Family Guy with a political edge to it, and let's just explore these actual characters." Now they've done some like really cynical stuff, but like Family Guy has really turned to like that asshole TV show. Whereas at least American Dad has kept the hearts of a lot of the characters and expanded on it. For example, like their son Steve being like this little weird kid, but now because weird kids are like in now, especially for like music and stuff, he's like a beatboxer now, and like the characters developed into like a really kind of like from I could say a really like confident kid from what the other season development was. Haley's not such a cynical liberal asshole anymore. She actually gets along with her dad in a lot of the episodes, and a lot of the episodes are about them understanding each other more. For example, matter of fact, Stan, the character Stan has changed a lot from his previous stuff. Matter of fact, he gets called out on his lot of shit, unlike Peter, who's kind of just gets thrown to the wayside, or his like assholeness is used as a comedic skit. And my dad also has a lot of music stuff to it. Like a lot of the creative entities that go into it are really expressive to a lot of the dance
episode.
And no, they're huge with celebrities. Like a lot, for some reason, they bring on a lot of celebrity guests that really enjoy their episodes. For example, they did an episode recently where The Weeknd showed on, and one of the twist of the episode was he was a virgin, and he just sings about sex because he wants to paint pictures of the sex that he would have with his future wife.
That's hilarious.
No, but like,
but then again, I also don't want to. I don't want anything that's going to put money in Seth MacFarlane's pocket. So fuck.
That's the problem. That's still a Seth MacFarlane show. He doesn't run it anymore. He's not writing episodes for it anymore. But his name on it and the check's going his way.
I legitimately hate that man, not because of anything like quote unquote cancel worthy. I just think that guy's a pompous asshole that is basically getting rich off laziness.
Yeah, I mean, I see that for so many people though. But I mean, I will say that. Like,
yeah, but the guy, and then when the guy does live action, he wants to be the coolest man in the world, so he always puts himself in a starring fucking role. He always almost like it's basically like Adam Sandler, but Adam Sandler doesn't seem like he's an asshole in real life, or Seth MacFarlane seems like he's the most pompous man in the world.
He thinks he's Frank Sinatra on the shows.
He thinks he's Frank Sinatra. Where at least like fucking Adam Sandler says he's an idiot.
Yeah, I mean,
he was honest. He was like, "I'm getting free vacations out these movies."
Yeah, which I do like the fact, because like the thing is, if he can get away with that shit and I ever get popular, I'm gonna do the same fucking thing I'm sending to him, and I'm gonna be like, hey, if you guys think it's bad, you guys were okay with that motherfucker doing it, now I'm doing it. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, you know, fucking time management. I agree with everything he's done. By the way, too, if more people do that, less families would be torn apart. By the way, you should be wanting all celebrities to be taking vacations all the time and filming wherever the fuck they're at. I'm just saying.
Took advantage. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go Cancun with my kids, and I'm gonna hang out and do a film with my buddies. We'll wrap like 2 weeks ahead of time and just enjoy the rest of the time here.
And I won't watch most of those movies anyway, but at least he's being honest about it. At least he's not trying to think he's the fucking next biggest star in the world. Legitimately, like, I almost don't want to, like, I was struggling to watch Cosmos because they had one of my favorite scientists on it, but Seth MacFarlane paid the fucking bills. I'm like, fuck. This is science and I love it, but I hate Seth MacFarlane as a person.
I do got to bring up one thing, though. This is very important. And this is something that I've been, like, holding on to since, like, we've started this whole conversation. Diaz. How do you feel about that World Heavy Championship belt for E-Mike?
Yeah, so.
By the way, I keep reading this ICP, so I'm like, the fuck does the insane clown posse have to do with this?
No, actually, no. By the way, they would have a lot to do with it. I'm not even fucking joking, dude.
You just smell the fuego on it. Whew.
Yeah, no. They had their own wrestling group or whatever, like their own wrestling promotion. They were actually competing with lots of other backyard wrestling, blah 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 stuff. But like, legit, ICP had a fucking really successful time in wrestling. But aside from that, I'm looking at this fucking belt. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm surprised that you even care about my opinion because that looks like some gold trash. Like
that's something out of the '80s. If you want my opinion, someone who's like a really casual wrestling fan but just knows a little bit of history because I'm a history nerd. Yeah. That looks like some shit that you see Hulk Hogan wear in his prime.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they put so much, like not like I don't even know what the fucking word. It's just like the gravitas. Wow, we said the same word. Yeah, perfect. Like gravitas, dude. Like I think that's a cool thing because, look, for me, I like very like undisputed goals. You know what I mean? Like for instance, in Infinity War, I had to like learn all the shit there was to learn about comic books. He explained it very, very importantly. Like I need the gems in my fucking glove so I can take over the fucking world. And I'm going to go get those fucking gems. Or the stones, whatever the fuck they are. And it's like, that was easy as shit. For me, it's like, yo, they're over here saying like, hey guys, look at, like, this is the amazing moment. You know, like, to us and people who are not really into wrestling, it's like, that's a fucking belt. Who gives a shit?
I mean, it looks cool. It's really shiny.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you know what? Like, it's all the checkpoints you got to do with the championship. It got to be shiny. And then the way you present it, the first time you present it, needs to be a big moment. And they're treating it with respect. And that's cool. With WWE, not to talk about wrestling more than I have to because I know people are going to fucking leave, but like, John Cena showed the WWE spinner belt. This is around the time when 50 Cent was a big thing, and yeah, John Cena comes out, which by the way he's doing a rapper gimmick, and like Snoop Dogg is like, man, he's shit, he's a bomb.com, I love that guy, blah blah blah, whatever, right? Which is like, by the way, Snoop, you gotta stop kissing people's asses. You know, like you're one of the best rappers ever, I guess, but it's like, yeah, man, I think John Cena's great.
He doesn't give a fuck, man. He just got paid. Like he's not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I did preserve my rap career. The dude did a cookie show with Martha Stewart.
Oh God, you're right. I fucking forgot about that.
Like, bro, Jesus. Like he doesn't. He's like Adam Sandler and doesn't give a fuck anymore. But the thing is, he's not really making movies or anything. He's just cashing checks wherever. He just shows up whatever the fuck he wants.
But the thing is, guys, like there was like 4 years of wrestling where it was just constantly showing belts. So like, John Cena came out, had the spin belt, and like it's funny. He comes up to the ring like, "Hey guys, I just beat Edge. Anyways, check out my spinner belt." And he like spins the belt. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like spin is the rims, whatever the fuck. But then like 3 years prior to that,
Chris Rock.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like 3 years prior to that, dude, fucking Triple H, and everyone knows Triple H. He's fucking huge, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But like, they had this undisputed title that Brock Lesnar had. And he was on both shows. It was a big thing. And then when he stayed on SmackDown, they just gave Triple H a belt one day. He just walks, you know, his theme song hits, and it's like, oh, what's the big announcement? Is it gonna be a tournament? Is it gonna be a big cage match? Some crazy wrestling bullshit? Here's the belt, Triple H, and then he's a champion for 8 months. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's like fucking starting a movie off. Wow. Okay, actually, there's a lot of movies that do this. But it's like starting a movie off with all the superpowers in the world. You don't earn anything. Like, what if Spider-Man... Have you ever seen like a Spider-Man incarnation where he just starts off and he can shoot webs and that's it? There's no like, oh, I got bit by a spider. Or I'm climbing.
I mean, not a movie per se, but almost everything that's not a movie does it.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought
the animated series, they usually already have him doing his thing, and then you learn the origin periodically throughout the season. The video game does the same thing. You know, they tell you enough of what you need to know, but yeah.
Holy shit, the final run usually ends with like Ben Parker getting shot, like it always does.
Wait, Chad, I'm fucking stupid. So Homecoming did that? Spider-Man had. So how did he get his powers in Homecoming? What happened?
He did. No. Homecoming is a sequel to Civil War. In the Civil War, they mentioned he's been Spider-Man for 6 months. They actually never show Spider-Man's origin story in the MCU. They only hint at it in Civil War.
They do. They show him early on with the YouTube videos and but that's about as much as you get.
Wow, I'm fucking stupid. I completely forgot they didn't. Wow.
Well,
Man,
the thing is
I hate this Spider-Man.
They realized it was a criticism of the franchise where everyone's like, "Oh, we already know. We've seen the origin twice." It's like the whole, Pac.
How many times are you gonna kill Uncle Ben? Damn.
How many times are you gonna kill the Waynes?
Guy, by the way, I am so a complainer like that. But at the
you
same
were that
time,
guy, and they did that for you.
But the thing is, man, Alan's gonna fucking slap me. I
they did it for you, but I hate it. But no, they did what you wanted.
Well, dude, come on, he shoots webs out of his fucking hands. Can we get an explanation, please?
They did. They literally explained it in there. He goes like, "Oh, where'd you buy this web?" He goes, "Oh, I fucking made it." the tensile strength's off the charts. He's like, yeah, I fucking made it. Okay. And the kid's clearly smart because they already show it's like, I built all this shit around me. I'm super fucking smart. Oh yeah, he explains like his fucking, great responsibility shit right there. They explain it all in about like 5 minutes of talking.
I guess you're right. I don't know. God, it's just like, okay, but I'll say one more. It's like, have you seen a Superman one where he learns his shit, or does he start off all the time having all the powers right away?
I mean, Man of Steel is the only one that. Man of Steel goes back and forth. It shows him with powers, and then it shows him growing up.
Okay, well shit. I don't know. By the way,
it's
guys,
a common thing actually, Nick, where like movies, like especially James Bond, like you're not gonna watch a James Bond movie where he's like in fucking like a training school. He's always doing some cool shit.
Yeah, Max makes that's a good question. He's like, do we really need the origin story anymore? And like, you're probably right as far as comic books go. Well, see, I say yes for movies. Comic movies, that's a little bit different, I guess. I'm trying to get out of my own opinion, but like, the thing is though, is like to go back into my opinion, I will say that like with action movies. You kind of need, like, I mean, James Bond's one thing where it's like, hey, you can just explain, I'm rich and I got money and I can buy cool shit. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But, like, John Wick, I needed that puppy thing. Like, if John Wick started and then he's just a fucking badass and then there's no reason for him to just be killing all these dudes, I'd be like, kind of poo-poo.
Well, no, John Wick character development ends as soon as the movie starts. It's actually kind of hilarious if you think like I remember seeing this one post like character arcs that finished before the movie began. It's like, yeah, he started off at one point, grew up, became the this assassin, but then fell in love and wanted to get out of it, and then it's like, well, then the movie starts. Like you gotta have a complete trilogy before the movie even fucking begins, but then you get a different character arc. But it depends on what kind of with superheroes, a lot of stuff like that. The reason people want to see origins is like, why are you willing to put your life on the line to save people? Because both people are like, well, I'm not gonna sit there and save motherfuckers. So it's like, what? Like you do that for multiple reasons. Like, why is this person willing to put their lives on the line? And two, every time you do an adaptation, you're changing the hero slightly. You're adding something new. You're taking something away. You're doing something different. So it comes to the question of, well, what are you doing differently? In this in the MCU, this Spider-Man has Tony Stark to pay for all of his shit. The other ones didn't. So it's like that's a major difference. And how does that affect the character?
Yeah. No, you're right, I guess. Or not even you guess. No, you're right. But really quick, I just because the chat's the Double Toes that started, by the way, too, for people that's on YouTube, so go and check him out. I'm actually doing something right now for Corey from the Dropbox video. He just really started. I should have done the show a while ago. But I have one question for the chat while I do what I got to do in the background. And you guys can answer it, obviously, in here. What is the situation, too, that you feel like, okay, this is the perfect amount of, like, explaining why this person has these powers? Like, what was, like, the best, like, build-up from someone being normal to just being, like, this overpowered fucking badass character that everybody knows? Because, like, for me, I'll say mine really quick, The Matrix. Yeah. I think Matrix is fucking incredible. Because The Matrix, he starts off as, like, this, he's working at a fucking, like, office with a stupid little, like, I don't know, compartments, I don't know what the fuck they call them. But, like, he's just, like, just a nobody. And then all of a sudden, like, he starts learning all these things, and he's still, like, really idiotic. Well, dude, I know Kung Fu, all that shit. But by the end of the movie, Neo is, like, this really... believe. Yeah, and, like, dude, like, at the very end, Neo is, like, this, fucking epic character where it's like you just say Neo or you just see a picture and everyone knows what movie that is and what this character is about, and they tell that story in like an hour and a half. It's amazing. Yeah, and
they tell, again, the most important line in the entire fucking franchise is when he's about to run away and he looks back at the fucking Smith agent, and when the character goes, what's he doing? And Morphe goes, he's beginning to believe. Because the whole thing is everyone's telling him, oh, you're awesome, but he never believes it. That's a really good answer. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I feel like maybe the Ip Man 1, because you're always told like, hey, this guy's kind of cool, but you don't really get to see, like, he builds up, like he's fighting throughout the movie, but like you're like, oh, okay, this is a 1-on-1 fight, you're decent, and it's like this is supposed to be the coolest guy in the world. It's supposed to be the dude that can fight 10 men off, and he doesn't really fight 10 men off till like near the end of the movie.
I love that movie too. Chronicle was fucking great, man. I don't remember enough about the characters, but yeah, that was really cool. I think they did that very, very well. But Jed, is anything coming to mind for you? Do you like a build-up of a character as far as like if something has superhero powers or any kind of like craziness going on?
Chronicle is actually a very, very good answer. I'm gonna steal that one.
Yeah, I know. I really, really like
Chronicle is the Akira movie.
I don't know enough about Akira.
It's one day you might watch it. I'm not sure you'll like it, but it's just you watch it going, oh yeah, this is just Akira. This is just Chronicle. Like they're the same. They're almost like, except for the fact that the ending of Akira is super fucking weird. It's almost the same movie.
Yeah. But moving on though, speaking of superhero stuff and all that good jazz, I want to bring up this very quickly. Well, no, because I thought you were gonna say something, but No, but
I was being patient, waiting my time like a little good boy, and then he just comes over my head like, and nobody else.
no, but what's one for you?
One for me, honestly, I want to just say like it's hard to really say because all these stories have a little touch of the destined hero thing, so it's really hard to say something like, oh, well, this hero does it better, this hero does it better. But mine's I like a little bit more are like the stories of where someone already has that base talent, and it's just them learning how to use it towards something good. I would always love the Punisher series.
Oh, fuck.
And like how it's showing that like this man just really honestly, yeah, he was this crazy vet and he did shit in the war, but like that wasn't his goal towards the end. His goal was just to make burgers, watch his kids grow up, and maybe die of a heart attack at 62 with some like old vet buddies around him. And then the whole thing happens, and then he's basically thrown back into what he's inherently already knows, but then takes it further. Because it's like he has nothing else to hold him back, whereas before he has something to hold him back. You see it both in the TV show, especially in the movies. They do it very well in the movies, but the movies are kind of like B movies, so a lot of people don't respect them. But like in that aspect, I like that.
Yeah, the movie. People don't talk about this enough. I actually really fucking love this movie. The first one, the one with John Travolta as the villain.
Yeah, I don't know why people didn't like the movie. For some reason, people are like, "Oh, Warzone is much better." I'm like, Warzone's a piece of shit.
I know. I like Warzone
better.
as well. Warzone, I like better, or not better, but I like it as well. I will say though too. So, and I forgot where I read this, and I should type it in to find it, but then it's gonna be too much of a fucking rabbit hole. So if someone can do it for me, that'd be great. But so when me and my dad saw The Punisher, and we started noticing little things because we're huge fans, and I'm so surprised I'm bringing this name up again, but Alex Proyas, his movie The Crow.
Oh my god!
Dude, by the way, what's happening, Alan?
Stop.
Where that name keeps coming up?
Stop! Like literally, this is the second time in 2 fucking days. I hate that man so much. If I ever meet him, I'm throwing a pie in his face.
Why a pie?
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Why a pie, Alan? It's like,
Oh, because I can't say I'll physically assault somebody because I might get in trouble for that one day.
oh, wow,
Twitch
that's
Twitch
smart.
start giving you the side eye nowadays for that.
I should start.
Exactly.
I should
So I'll
start.
say pie in the
doing that.
face. It won't be a pie, but you get the meaning.
Yeah.
But I
It'll be my
literally
pussy.
like that man has made like nothing but bad movies. Like he made The Crow and then made nothing good since.
No, and iRobot, and Dark City, and
Those are
Knowing,
all
which is,
before the Knowing.
and Knowing is great too. Not just playing.
Knowing is you've never seen it.
I know. I've never watched that bullshit.
Knowing's
Why
a
did
piece
you
of
watch it?
shit.
You watched it
What?
because you thought it was going to be good. So you're more.
Oh yeah,
dumb than
because I
I
thought
am.
Nick Cage was a good actor.
What the fuck?
Trust me, that was the last time I thought that.
Dude, his best movie is Willy's Wonderland because he doesn't fucking talk. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
that's how
The
bad.
the first not Independence. So the fuck I'm saying,
I love Con Air. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
That's
pretty
okay.
good
That's
actually.
pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Oh,
I was gonna say, the Feeling Independence. I will say the Declaration of Independence. National Treasure.
oh God, you boring
That
bitch.
first one's pretty good.
Jesus. Oh.
I love history. You know I was down with that shit, Diaz.
Goddamn right.
And you're gonna get a TV series, by the way, so you better be watching that shit.
Yeah,
guys, when it comes out.
I don't know why.
So bad.
Honestly, it should have been a TV series when it first came out.
Probably.
No, it makes sense as it was a movie because they're essentially like, hey guys, this is the Da Vinci Code as a different thing that's not the Da Vinci Code, and then they made the Da Vinci Code as a movie.
Dude, I was so sick of that 2 years where Da Vinci Code was like the shit, and like everyone was talking about it, like, oh my god, Da Vinci Code. I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
Oh,
I
it's
watched
because
that
I read
movie.
that. It was
I
because of the
still don't
fucking
get it.
Christian people. They fucking made it so popular because of how much they hated it.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. Like I watched the movie twice. I still don't get it. If anyone like wants to send me a message or an email saying, "Hey, this is the meaning of this movie," can you please do that? Because I still don't understand that shit, and I watched it twice.
I've read the book and seen the movie. Basically, the entire point of the Da Vinci Code is that there's a hidden message that exists within Catholicism that's supposed to give the origin story and the real burial of where Jesus is, and supposed to actually like give you the truth about who Jesus was. And over the course of it, because apparently it was plagiarized, so I can't sit there and say I recommend the book, and the movie is fucking terrible. It turns out it's like, oh, this is basically objective parable that Jesus was a normal person, and Jesus had children.
Damn. Imagine that.
Yeah, there's an entire like lineage that turns out to be one of the main characters because, of course, it is.
Dude, I do not want to see what's in Jesus's like incognito browser.
And that made people mad.
Well, yeah, because you're
Yes,
essentially
Jesus.
demystifying.
Man, if I take Lil Nas's music video back in time to these people, they fucking just
Oh,
have
bro, they
aneurysm.
would have burned that man at the stake.
And Jacobo saying, I think Thomas Jane did a great Punisher and they even used him for the voiceover for the Punisher game. I didn't know that, actually. I didn't even play the
That
Punisher
game is
game.
fantastic, by the way.
Dude, I am so curious how that game plays. Yeah, like, let me look that up.
It's just all it is just a gun. Like you just go around shooting a bunch of people in various levels. It's simplistic, but one of the most interesting things about the game is the torture mechanic. So if you need like you get information which helps you get like guns or get to a level easier, you can like put up to people to like windows and shit, and like you could basically kind of scare them. Like you can murder them, or you could like get them to kind of break and get information. But the interesting mechanic is sometimes it's like, I have a family, and like he won't want to kill them because it's like, oh, he knows what it's like to lose his whole family. So it's like if you let them go, you get more bonus points, but you can still kill them. But then you get like negative.
You'll get a penalty.
By the way, I just love like how we're slowly making more points for those old people that are mad in 1992 about video game and violence. Because it's like the way Alan starts off, he's like, "No, that game was great." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I'm thinking about gameplay and graphics. He's like, "Man, you can torture a motherfucker, you can hurt him, you can, he's gonna be like my family."
Yeah, and I've never murdered a man in my life. I don't plan to.
Before the Marvel universe was big, so they got away with doing a lot of stuff. And one of my favorite hands down was Iron Man's in the game. And at one point, this is a secret. Not people don't know this, but you can use Iron Man as a finisher because he's testing one of his Iron Man blasters in the lab. So if you get the right angle and you throw a guy towards it, it will send like a plasma blast, and it would like the dude just explode. It's like this pile of mess of blood and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really quick, Alan, I'm gonna play a little game with you really quick.
What's up?
This is so fucking interesting what I'm about to bring up that I'm like, if this is good enough, I might put this up as like a really quick video on Facebook because I have never heard anybody else say what I'm about to say. This picture right here, does it look like any other cover? And I'm pretty sure you're going to get this right.
No, but I always felt that he looked exactly like Steven Seagal.
Okay, that's hilarious. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
As a kid, I always like when they ever make a Punisher movie against Steven Seagal because it looks just like him.
So this background though looks like something that came out 2 years or 3 years afterwards. I am so fucking shocked, and right away when I saw this, that's how big of a fan I am that I'm like, ooh, I gotta look. And here it is, Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Oh fuck!
Does that not look like the exact same cover?
I can. It's silver, symbol with red background. I can see that a little bit. Yeah.
That is fucking crazy, dude.
Look, man, I got nothing. I lazy. Just they're like whatever. Red fucking background with a fucking. I mean, whatever. Red and fucking red backgrounds were cool as shit. There's like 100 games that just have red backgrounds.
And by the way, I'm not saying that Punisher stole this. Mortal Kombat stole this shit. That's what I'm saying. Because Punisher came out first.
Mortal Kombat just jumps on trends. That was like the last Mortal Kombat before they really understood what the fuck they're doing. Because at that point, the game franchise kind of died for like a good couple years.
Well, okay, people say that, but I will tell you, I disagree because 2 years after that, MK vs. DC came out, and I fucking love it.
I stand by my word.
MK vs. DC is fucking great. And I like how motherfuckers like you will go, ooh, I like Injustice. Meanwhile, Injustice
is actually a well-written
It's the same
story.
Fucking thing as Mortal Kombat.
It's not the same fucking thing. The actual fighting is incredibly nuanced. The story is fantastic. Like the controls are really, really fucking good. Everything about Injustice 1 is really fucking good. Injustice 2, I just couldn't find a character that I enjoy, but still a well put together game. MK vs. DC failed at every step of the fucking way.
Can't believe you've done this. And that's the thing. We're gonna talk about some video games for a second.
The only one that likes it.
Because as mad as I am about you doing that shit, and then I'm mad about Mortal Kombat Armageddon stealing cover art, I'm also mad about Mortal Kombat for something else. Over here,
what?
The fucking release date has been pushed. What the fuck?
Why?
Because
I'm actually kind of curious why.
No, it's because they don't want to like overdo the ticket sales thing, which is the whole thing I've been saying about fucking like, for one, don't have the fucking ticket, like don't have release dates that you're not gonna make, dumbasses. Like what the fuck? But then also too, it's like, yeah, this is gonna happen for lots of movies. I can guarantee you that Candyman and fucking Halloween Kills and fucking Quiet Place 2, all that shit is gonna be pushed back because
they've already been delayed.
It's going to be delayed again. You know what wasn't delayed? Yeah. Fucking Monster Hunter. That piece of shit. Like, oh my god.
Wait, so are you saying we should delay movies or not delay movies?
I'm just saying, it's like, dude, delay everything to a point where, like, we can do the math.
He's doing a Trump right now. They're not setting up their best.
Look,
like, yeah, this movie got delayed, this movie got... You know what released? Monster Hunter. So, next 4 delays?
Look, all I'm saying is,
They're
Just
not
give me
saying
Mortal
their best.
Kombat. All I want is Mortal Kombat. Okay, can I just? This is really all it comes down to.
Like, what do you want?
I don't know what I want. I just want Mortal Kombat. I've been waiting.
You just want Mortal Kombat. Okay, you're upset that Mortal Kombat got pushed to release date because you really want to see the movie. Okay, we got somewhere. We got something out of that.
Like, dude. So here's the thing. I've done this before. This is how dark my head is sometimes, guys. I know. Don't tell me before I'll say I gotta see a therapist at some point. Okay, but sometimes when really like I'm really nervous about like a plane trip or something, I kind of go through a list of things. I'm like, man, I hope I don't die because I'm gonna miss out on this, and this. And since fucking 2010, sometimes I'm like, man, I hope I don't die. And one of the things that is brought up within that thought process is Mortal Kombat 3 is gonna come out one day. I've been waiting for this, dude, since fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation 1997. I've been waiting for Mortal Kombat 3 forever. It's like one of those like bucket list things. Like dude, I'm literally willing to risk my health going to the fucking movie theater to see this movie. Like that's how fucking into this movie I am. I could, dude, if the trailer was actually good, I would have fucking cried watching it. That's how fucking much. And yes, I know Marisa, goddamn, fucking dumb people nowadays. I know it's not Mortal Kombat 3, goddammit. It's the third movie though. It's another sequel. But you gotta be exact with these motherfuckers.
Look, man, it keeps motherfucking ticking. Like, keep delaying it.
But dude,
I'm the same way. The last time I thought that was, I was like, I can't die before Assassin's Creed 3 comes out.
no, but you know what's like. Meanwhile, there's like Assassin's Creed 13.
No, after that, I'm like, whatever. If I go, I go.
There's someone out there that like beat like a terminal illness, and their guiding light was fucking Cyberpunk.
Oh, fuck.
No, I want to point out, everybody has that story. Everybody has that. I hope I don't die before this particular.
All right, so can I shout out a movie?
What was yours?
My movie. All right, no, it's not about this. The movie did something about what I just joked about. Shout out to Fanboys, I think it was called, where they the whole premise is like their friends dying of cancer and they're going to go like try to sneak the first episode of Star Wars. And it's like this heart like little like moment between everybody, and they're just enjoying each other's company. And then like they just have the friend who's dying from cancer watch the movie, and he ends up passing. And it's like the last day, they're like last like 20 minutes, they're in the movie theater about to watch Star Wars, and Jude just looks back at everybody. Hey man, what if this movie sucks? And that's how the movie ends.
Again, everybody has that moment of I hope I don't die before this product comes out. For me, it was Assassin's Creed 3 because I fucking love that franchise, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be the ending. We're gonna get the story. They've been building it for 5 years. I hope I live long enough to see this. I hope it doesn't suck. I to this day, I don't think I've really forgiven Ubisoft for that because
someone died during the Snyder cut because they couldn't last the full 4 hours.
No shit,
like if you
right?
thought I was a Ubisoft fan now, you should have seen me before Assassin's Creed 3 came out. You cannot say a bad thing to them for me. I would be like, no, I'll break down all this shit. Now it's like whatever. They do some bullshit, I don't care.
Jet, do you have like a like I want to see this before I die type of thing, like a bucket list entertainment thingy? Like a concert or like something.
I mean, there's games that I want, nothing movie wise, because like franchise wise, most of the stuff I like would not do well as movies.
Well, was there a product that you're like, I hope I don't die before this whatever comes out?
Yeah, because I'm curious.
No.
I think one of the
Just
things
like I'm ready to die 24/7, dog.
No, because I'm thinking like what I was expecting is like, man, I don't want to die before Jay-Z and Beyonce break up. Like, I would be alive to see it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like not for me. It's like that was one. Jeepers Creepers 3 was another one. I always felt like there was gonna be a remake of Terminator because every time a sequel comes out, it's technically a remake. And I think Dark Fate's as close as we're gonna get like a full-on actual fucking like remake or reboot or whatever. And I got to see that. I was like, man, I hope I don't die before that. And honestly, I swear to God, one of the little things on there is Converse Skull Island, or Converse Skull.
I've been doing the same thing for weeks.
The whole fucking island.
I've been saying that for a week, and I think it caught on to Nick.
God, damn it. So fucking stupid.
I'm sorry, that's my first time.
Like he hasn't. Like Con hasn't fucked up the island this whole time.
He's like, nah, he's gonna protect the island. You know what? Fuck it. This whole island can go. I'm gonna shit for touching the mountain.
Imagine just basically this is King Kong being Michael Douglas in that one movie you fucking like, Nick.
Falling down.
Yeah, falling down.
Just fucking up the whole island.
I'm fucking thinking of Khan. Just like he just gets up one more, he's like, and just fucking.
It's
throws him
just
down.
the end. It's just him roaring, and it's like it's time for the island to end.
One monkey has a bad day.
Godzilla versus Khan. That was another one I wanted to see. I was like, oh shit, and yeah, like it's finally out. Originally, that movie was supposed to come
Okay.
out.
I got another one too. The Batman v Superman. Like as a
That's a
kid,
good
I've always
one,
wanted to see like seeing them on the big screen because like again, I got something similar on the animated. Seeing Batman and Superman when the animated series were at their peak, seeing them cross over was the coolest thing I ever fucking saw. So when they announced Batman v Superman, I'm like, I'm gonna see that in theaters. Like I hope I fucking live long enough to see that shit. Yeah, it wasn't that disappointing, but the fucking internet hated it.
Yeah, but Marissa, yeah, actually, one of the last things I remember seeing right before Corona started was at Converse Skull Island. Oh my God, I did it again.
Like a minute.
It's been a long day, guys. I'm gonna
It's
be
been
honest.
a long time.
Just say Kong versus and just stop yourself there.
Well, no, because
Everyone
another
knows
thing too
what's
is like
going on.
everyone's saying this wrong because I've been listening to other reviews and shit like on IGN, and like people are saying like Godzilla versus Kong, Kong versus Godzilla, King Kong
Well-
penis.
Well, do you say Freddy versus Jason or Jason versus Freddy?
Oh,
I
it's
guess
Freddy
Freddy
versus
versus
Jason.
Jason.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Jason versus Freddy is very.
It doesn't fit as well.
It's Kong versus Godzilla.
Not the good one. It's Kong versus Kong. I can't even say that one. That just fucks my brain too much. Versus Godzilla.
Maybe like I'm just someone who basically is always just thinking in the present. I don't really like think about stuff like future stuff because it's just like I forget dates of stuff coming up all the fucking time. To where like even games to where it's just like I'm actually excited for. Like maybe like someone will tell me like, "Oh, you excited for this?" What? Oh, this is coming out. Weren't you excited? Oh, it's about to come out. Oh shit! Completely forgot.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of the same boat, but like there is things where I'm like I kind of like I still have more now, like just things I'm waiting for. Like
I don't have that many.
like dude,
Like
I
I
want to
kind of
see
got a lot of them.
dude, I want to see all the video game systems get together. Like we're technically
I,
already there.
Assassin's Creed was another one.
Wait, which one? Oh, the
I
movie?
heard about them. I heard them making a movie. Like I hope I live long enough for this because that was my last.
Boy,
hope of
Assassin's
this.
Creed does not love you.
It does not. It consistently disappoints me. But that was the last one. Where like, man, if they're ever gonna make a video game movie, I remember saying this like before, like they even talked about it, like they're ever gonna make a video game movie, it's gonna be Assassin's Creed. It's gonna be so easy to make a movie about it. Just make the Matrix with cooler outfits. That's all you have to do. And then they announced, I was like, this is gonna be great. And I saw it at the theaters, like, this is the worst movie I saw this year.
Yeah, God, that movie was so fucking bad. That as soon as you put pop music or hip hop song or whatever on the trailer like that,
Kanye West song, "I Am a God." I should have known right then and there.
yeah, that was.
But then again, they put Black Skinhead for Wolf of Wall Street, and that movie was fantastic.
Yeah, well, still. But yeah, so Mortal Kombat is going to be a thing that's going to be waiting for a little bit. But here's the thing, though, guys. Before we get out of here, I do want to talk about one more nerdy thing. And I've been promising to do this, so right now I'm doing this almost like obligatorily because I'm like, fuck, how many times can I say we're going to watch this goddamn thing or talk about it at least? And this is Invincible. I remember the trailer came out. God, I can't remember. It was like February 22nd. Yeah, something like that. And I've been, I don't know, for me, I've been pretty happy with just like other stuff that's been going on Amazon Prime. I think that like, Netflix kind of has a little bit of a monopoly right now with all the shows and all the series and everything that's kind of come out. And to see Amazon Prime kind of get their hands on something, and they've done some other shit too, like Undone was a big one. True Seekers, there's some other shit that they've done where it looks really good and shot really well. You can tell there's money on it. Oh, and The Boys. I can't believe I almost fucking forgot about that, Mauricio. So I'm just like, like, let's see how this is going to come out. I never seen them do, like, animation yet because I don't pay that much attention, but, I don't know.
Well, they did something like rotoscoped animation. It was Undone, I think it was. It was pretty good.
Yeah. But no, I just think that Amazon Prime has really set itself, in a place that is very acceptable when it comes to announcements for new shows and movies because people are willing to give it a chance now because they know that there's money put into it, which is cool. But then, for me, I don't know how I felt about this too, but when I saw that it was made by Robert Kirkman, the guy behind The Walking Dead, and all that good shit, there was a couple of bouts of language in the trailer where I was like, okay, you're doing that thing that Kevin Smith does where you just like to cuss. You know what I mean? Like somebody in the trailer was like, "Oh shit, oh fuck, whatever," and there was like a couple spouts of blood or whatever. But I was like, "Oh, are you gonna do that thing where you become like a character of yourself or a caricature of yourself?" I want Kirkman to just obligatorily do violence for violence sake. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was like, "Well, it's relatable. Like we watch so many comic book things, and it's like." that's why I like boys, man. If the Flash ran up against me and like barely touched me when he was going all fast, he would rip my arm off. He would explode me. You know, what I mean, the Flash would fuck me up, and we never see him even do that to bad guys. It's always so safe, you know.
Well, yeah, you know, he's not trying to vaporize motherfuckers, so it's like when he's running through people, it's like, okay, he has to be very, you know, very extremely, yeah, exactly, extremely fucking careful. In The Boys, that first scene, he was basically drunk, high, whatever. So it's like he's not gonna really care. And, sorry, he runs off. It's like, yeah, he was drunk as fuck. Like he had an addiction throughout the whole series.
Yeah, man. So when I looked at something like this, I was like, all right, well, we're going to get some adult shit here, just like The Boys, so this could be cool. But when I was watching the first episode, a lot of this felt like it kind of pulled the wool over my eyes because it still did the same old, like, bully shit, and it had typical Justice League type of content where our heroes are beating up in a not-so-violent way a bunch of monsters and enemies and shit like that. And then plus, two, our main characters, they're basically just Justice League wannabes, you know, like just Justice League Light.
Yeah.
But I actually started liking the characters more than Justice League. Like, the Batman that they have here, and I forgot his name, but it was like, yeah, Darkwing or whatever. But like, dude, I like his. I like for one that we got our first black Batman. That's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was really vulnerable the entire time too. But yeah, his gadgets are really cool. You know what I mean? What'd you feel
Well,
about
they
it?
show him immediately very interesting, where it's like, you know, these guys, they attack the White House, and he's going around doing his thing, and you know, you see the tank situation. You're like, holy shit! Like, you're really feeling for the character, and his last act is like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, save the civilian. And she goes, well, what about you? And it's like, don't worry about it, I'll be okay. And he's like, well, you know, you're like, oh, is he gonna be good? And then he, you know, his friends help him save him, but it's like, yeah, they show immediately, hey, this guy's good, but he's still a person.
Yeah, and we see within 5 minutes of the show that he's willing to put himself down for somebody else, and it's like,
Exactly.
wow, he got that. I'm surprised that you kind of put that ahead. And you get to learn about like their version of the Flash, and like he has his girlfriend, and you know they explain. I love this explanation. I don't know if the Flash does this.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, like
he doesn't, but I like what they did with this, where it's like the explanation for that is like he gets bored really easily because he's constantly processing things super fast. So everything to him is like a 2-second conversation is like an hour and a half for him. So he's constantly zipping around, just doing shit around the world because he's bored as fuck.
Yeah, and I love that because I'm like, dude, like that's a really, to be honest, like that in itself is a really good weakness. Where it's like, I wish I could be really fast. But that would be torture that every person I know is boring as fuck. But his love for his girlfriend is so intense that he's like, but I love you though. And like, I hate on every word. And good God, I got to wait a long time. You know? But it was like really cool. I'm like, I kind of like his romance with this girl. Like, I want to see them be together, blah, blah, blah. And Omni-Man is like actually a pretty cool dad. I like when we're learning about Steven Yeun's character. I mean, I forgot his name. I think it's Gary or something.
Dave,
crazy.
I think, is in it?
Mark.
I thought it was Dave. Yeah, it was something. It was something very kind of, I guess, a little bit more generic, but like, yeah, it's still a nice name. But yeah, seeing his kind of character and just seeing his development, where it's like, yeah, I kind of like, I was like, oh, is this going to be kind of like this disappointment, like I'm the loser? But it's like, no, as soon as he starts getting his powers, he starts to really like prove that it's like he wants this. He's trying his best. He's trying his best to garner his father's approval, and I really felt for that.
And much like Superman and Lois, I love the family aspect where Omni-Man, his dad, which is basically the Superman of the show, gets really like attitude-y very fast. You know, like his wife's like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" Like, "Hey, no!" Like just barking, like, "Oh, fuck you, then, bitch!" But like, what she can.
When he did that, basically, I got thrown back. I'm like, "Who the fuck you talking to?"
Yeah, like, dude, I don't care how much superpowers I have. If I did that shit to Jet, that's my kryptonite. Something's gonna fucking happen next.
Hey, and she calls him out immediately. He's like, okay, shit.
You'll be invisible, and somehow it'll hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I ain't fucking with Jet like that. But like, what you feel about like just the Justice League people, Jet? Like, what you feel about because obviously these people are just the same fucking characters, but like, did you feel like they were done differently here? They were kind of better.
I mean, honestly, no. Like, I thought they were basically the same characters, and that, like, at first I was just like, okay, well, they're just completely copying the Justice League here. I mean, maybe they're gonna make them dark or like way darker than the actual Justice League. Who knows? But damn, they just went ahead and copied like almost every single character. But then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: we're getting into spoiler talk now, guys. So 3, 2, 1. This show has more balls than I do. That fucking ending reduced my jaw was like fucking like hanging, and my heart hurt, man. Like these characters, unfortunately, guys. Once again, spoiler talk. Gave you time to fucking pause or do whatever you're gonna do, but they all die. Every fucking character. all these superheroes, and I was getting to know them very well. I was really well, not these ones actually. That's a whole different group of people, but the main ones that are trying to be like DC superheroes. The fact that they were gone, man, and the way it was done, I think was pretty fucking amazing how they did it. Because as I said, I thought there was a wool being pulled over my eyes. I was like, oh, well, this is gonna be. I thought it was gonna be intense, but it's not intense. It's actually just the same old shit, but it's fine. And then when they did that, I was like, oh my god, you earned every fucking ounce of respect you possibly can from me. But Alan, what'd you feel about that?
Strange, because I was watching the episode and I was like, this is middling. You know, I've seen stuff done better, but I liked at least of like, hey, this guy's a real father. This kid's being like, you know, he's basically would have been like me if I, you know, just got my powers and was actually trying to learn this stuff. So I really enjoyed it. And it gets like the 30-minute mark, and I was like, huh, that's weird. There's like 12 minutes. So I did what I usually do, and I did the whole scroll on the bottom, and then I saw like a lot of blood. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I was like, that makes no sense. So then I keep watching it, and then it's like all the characters, you know, they get called to the area, and I was like, what's going on? And then my brain was like, bro, be careful, they're about to die. My brain was warning me. I'm like, uh-oh. And then it started happening, and bro, like, I was a bitch, man. Like, I stopped, I walked up, I was like, bro, even right now it's affecting me, because like, yeah. I've seen violence before. Watch Attack on Titan. I've seen horror movies at the wazoo. I have not felt the visceral reaction to seeing those characters die like that in a very, very long time. Man. Like the Flash one was like the Flash one to me. It's weird because he like whoever gets it the worst is up to your opinion. That one to me, I'm like that was a starter where I was like, oh shit, they're showing like these guys are gonna die really hard. But like what got me was the Batman one because the fucking smashing on the ground, head exploding, and him just turning into a pile of meat, and just that entire character just gone. Being dropped in the lap of that girl, and she just boom dead instantly. Like, my anxiety shot through the fucking roof, and I just had to fucking walk away for a bit. I'm not watching the show anymore, like straight up, because of how like I felt so fucking bad for everything that was happening on screen. I'm like, I cannot, like, my heart cannot watch another episode of this.
Yeah, it's fucking rough, dude. Like, I mean, I watched, I was like, no, like, by the way. And once again, Robert Kirkman is a fucking G, dude, because the last time that I got that close for being that upset during a movie where, you know, because of violence, I mean, there's been other shit that Jet showed me, by the way, that's made me really fucking upset. But, like, as far as, like, action stuff, last time I felt like this was Walking Dead, where he killed Glenn. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where Negan came over there and bat the fuck out of him. And it's like, this was on the level of Walking Dead, man. This was fucking rough. Like that right there too, and like it doesn't stop. Man, I kept like, you're like begging him to stop. Like I was watching this and like audibly, dude, I was like, no, what the fuck? Like, oh, dude, that shit was rough. But Jet, what'd you feel? Because I am gonna guess that you didn't give that much of a fuck, but
no, like the second I saw, like they said, like I didn't call them, I didn't call everyone here. Is where I just like, oh yeah, they're about to die. And just, like, you feel this way because, like, there could be a whole bunch of reasons why, like, that could actually get to a whole bunch of people. One, the extreme violence. Two, because these are so close to, like, the actual Justice League characters that it's just like, oh my god, I'm actually watching the Justice League just fucking die. And Superman could easily do this shit if he wanted. Injustice. Yeah. But for me, it's just like, it's just like, damn, why the fuck did he do this? This came out of nowhere. I think it's like each one of them were... From what we've seen from like their backstory, the short backstories that we got, they're all pretty good people. And then seeing like them get these incredibly gruesome deaths by this man who actually is a pretty good father is just really fucked up. Because it's basically just watching good people get fucked over by someone else who seemed like an actual really good person.
Yeah, man, like they really did a good job like hiding that. Because I honestly, dude, like. And, you know, now hindsight's 2020, so if there was like any kind of clues they're going to give to us, then we could say that we saw those. But like, I'm going to put myself out there right now. I didn't. Yeah, I had no clue that this could have happened at all. The only thing I was thinking is like, okay, if they really want to show some balls, or maybe they'll kill Omni-Man. And then the fact that I was so wrong.
I thought they were going to. Legitimately, I thought. But then you see, it's like, well, this guy isn't invincible because they were doing damage to him, but it's clearly going to take a lot more than those guys. Because you see, it's like his suit gets damaged, he's bleeding, like. It's not like the Superman where it's like, oh, he's not able to fucking do it. You can't, like, no matter, like, Josh Whedon's Justice League or Zack Snyder's, like, they can't put a scratch on him. It's like, no, they are scratching him up. So it's like, he can be killed. It's just going to take a lot more than the combined might of some of the most powerful heroes in the world.
Yeah, the problem is they actually could have taken him out, but the thing is, a lot of them hesitated. The Flash guy was the only one who actually didn't hesitate, and he actually did the most damage on him. If everyone else was just like, "Oh shoot, this dude already tried to attack, we got to get his ass," he probably would have been dead with only a couple casualties. But because all of them were basically, well, actually, from what we know, like it could turn out like all of them were planning something. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like, what do they want to do? Because I saw a screenshot of like, the destroyed city and, the son looking at his father. I'm like, okay, they're going to fight. But I'm just like, well, is a situation where like, hey, the father saw the future and he knows that everyone, including him, is going to result in the end of the world. So it's like, oh, I'm going to be the bad guy, so you kill me and become the new hero. If it's going to be like that, like, well, he really, he did a good thing. Or is it a situation where it's like he wants to take over the world? Like, I don't know what it's going to be. And in all honesty, it's like the boys made me mad because the death at the start of the show. Like, the thing with the boys, it was always very dark to begin with. It was extremely dark, even with the way you saw it being shot. So, like, you could just expect there's going to be some bad shit. The trailer even showed that. Like, people are going to die in very horrible ways. So when the first death happened, I was mad because I'm like, you guys are playing this off as kind of a joke. Luckily, the show had incredibly complex characters, so it made up for that. This one's the opposite, where it's very kind of not happy-go-lucky, but it's very bright, colorful. There's a little bit of blood, but you don't expect that. But the fact that it's basically like willing to like be kind of like decently show and then just go to some of the most grotesque animated violence I've ever seen. I can't handle another situation like that. Like I'm gonna literally wait till the series over. Ask Nick, look, just spoil every goddamn. Show me scenes so I can prepare myself mentally because I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to feel that way again. I fucking love superheroes and seeing them wiped out like that, it hurt.
And it's funny because like. For me, I like this shit because I like the ballsiness of it, but it's like you're not the only person that thinks this way because this is essentially, when you go back look at the ratings drop for Walking Dead, it was happening, everyone went to shit right when the Glenn thing happened. And it was like, people want to say, like, I want to see some balls in my superhero shit, but I think, and I don't agree with what I'm about to say, by the way, because I love this, but, this shit is emotional, man, and it's like, you build these characters and they all have enough time, and I get it, you gotta surprise people with shit, but like this is gonna be hard for a lot of people to deal with, dude. And it's like you also don't want to invest emotions in people now because it's like, okay, so I'm gonna start caring about this person, then you're gonna either kill or rape her or rip her apart or what?
Well, they didn't put up Mark Millar. No one got sexually fucking molested. I fucking hate that writer.
But what's funny or not funny? What's fucked up on this is that it actually has a thing when you read in the top left corner. I watch Amazon stuff in X-ray mode because I like to see when like they bring up the voice actors, blah blah.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
But it says like rated this, and this for sexual violence, sexuality, violence, whatever. And I'm like, I can't see this not going to rape. I mean, if I got to see a fucking silly-go-lucky, water frog character get his fucking head split and eyes pop out, this is gonna go fucking everywhere. This show is gonna really, really test to see how legitimate are you when you say you want balls in your superhero stuff, because you're gonna be taught something soon. This is not your Justice League, man. This is something.
Yeah, and then like I said, like more ballsy stuff in there. I think that's why the boys, like season 2, I felt like had some issues, but like with the boys, it's like I had that grotesque death at the start, but it had complex characters, so it made up for it. It was more ballsy. I think I sometimes think they went too far just in the amount of swearing.
Look at their Superman there too, like that airplane scene where it's like there's a child and there's
that airplane scene was fantastic. It was complex as hell.
Well, it's fucked up too. It's like I don't want to be in a situation I'm watching a show or a movie where it's like they're on an airplane, they're crashing. The acting's really good, but you hear babies and shit. I'm like, you guys are killing. I mean, they're not going intense with it, but you essentially just kill kids and a baby and women and all these fucking people. And it's like I want to jump inside the screen and choke the fuck out of Homelander. That's the guy's name in Boys. Yeah. And just like we hear, I fucking want Omni-Man dead, dude. Like I want
and you feel helpless. You feel like you're watching like people, like your friends die, and you can't do anything about it. And it's like, I get with Mauricio, where he's like, why? But I can't handle call me a bitch. I don't give a fuck. I cannot handle seeing that level of violence happen to other people. Like when you see like a villain, it's like you can almost get like they kind of like depends on how bad they are. They almost kind of deserve it. But when you're seeing heroes, it's like no, that's not Batman. But bro, they basically got Batman.
Man, fuck Batman. Fuck him up just like that shit. I want to see that shit more Kombat.
Yeah, I know, and then this motherfucker exists.
You damn right. Show me that shit. I'm looking for this ending right now.
Yeah, but I will say, to wrap it all up for episode 1 at least, and I'll do a really, really short review of episode 2 with Jet, but like, yeah, for me, this was a fucking, honestly, I think a 5 out of 5 honestly, for what it was too. Because I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 just because, like, yeah, it's one of those things where I wasn't really, you know, I mean, it's superhero shit, and I don't like superhero shit. But like, let's take that piece out and be like, okay, let's pretend that I'm actually okay with superheroes. And, you know, just based on that, and it's like, this is probably the most perfect you can go with it for me, for my taste. I won't recommend it if you're like Alan, where you, and like, okay, I'm going to say this, and it's not an insult, by the way, but like, if you're a person who likes Justice League and the DCEU and shit like that, and the Flash on CW, this is not your show, man. I'm telling you right now, this is not your show. But, you know, I don't blame you, because this is fucking intense. I don't like to watch things that put me in a bad mood. If you're a person who likes superheroes, this is going to put you in a bad mood. This is not a fun watch. You know,
that's the weird thing is, like I was saying, I'm gonna fight you on the opposite of this. It's a me thing. Like I'm very like I don't like my heroes killing, and 2, I don't like watching my fucking heroes die. Like I don't like those 2 things. I don't really like doing. So when you have something like, you know, The Boys, it's very you know, they're anagrams, but they're doing a lot of different stuff. Where it's like, okay, they're not exactly the characters. With this, they are, but it's like that. This is just a me thing. Because I know plenty of people that want to continue watching it. Mercy on the chat's like he wants to know why. But it's like it's not an easy watch. It's not a fun watch. Like sorry, the last part of it. The rest of the episode is great, but that last part, you're gonna make a choice right then and there. It's like, oh boy, most people are gonna stomach it and deal with it, but it's like you might end up not wanting to. But that's completely up to you. It's not badly written. It's not played for jokes. It's not bad. It's just a very personal thing. So I would even give this high recommendation. I'll probably put this as a 3.5, even 4. Because of just the animation was great, the fight scenes were fantastic. I like the characterization, the voice acting was all great. I wish I could watch the rest of the show, but it's a very personal choice. I can't sit through it again.
Yeah. You said 3.5 or 4 out of 5. So
yeah, but 3.5 to 4. Like I'm hovering in between because there's some things where I'm like, I wish they went more into it. Clearly, but it's just one of those things. It's not even the ending. The ending doesn't take a point off of it because the action was still great, even though it was fucking horrifying to watch.
Yeah. Jet, any comments that you want to say that we haven't said, and also what would you rate this?
This episode in general, 4 out of 5. I was enjoying like the other stuff, like okay, like it's a super. Like at first I was just like, okay, it's like a superhero coming of age story. Like it's a nice change of pace, and then that ending happened, to which I was going to give this a 3 at first, and then it's just like, okay, that was unexpected, and that was something else, to where it bumped it up all the way to a 4.
Yeah. Which I'm really glad. And to top out the second episode very, very quickly, character development like a motherfucker with Invincible. So we don't get to see Omni-Man at all. Omni-Man essentially lays down and acts like he was beaten, and he wants the superhero police to essentially, not know what's going on. So they think like, someone came here, it must have been a ghost or something, and they fucked all these superheroes up. So they're on this investigation that's going to lead nowhere, which leaves Omni-Man open to teach, our main character Invincible, which his name's Max or Mark. But, they get to kind of, like, learn superhero stuff, whatever, etc. But as he's starting to develop, he's starting to kind of lose his shit sometimes, almost like in puberty, where even his bully, he comes at him again, he's like, hey, I'm going to fuck you up, dude. And there's a part where he's just like, hit me again, do it again, fuck yeah, just do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he's, like, into it. Yeah. And it's fucking weird to the point where he kind of becomes a bully. And I'm like, I kind of enjoy that, too, because you go back to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And Peter Parker, when he starts learning his spidey sense, whatever, he's still like he gets back at the bully, but he doesn't do anything like in a shitty way. He's just like defending himself. Like the guy comes after him, throws a lunchbox or not lunchbox, but a fucking lunch plate, whatever, at him, and he dodges it, and he saves MJ, and he whatever the fuck. And that's cool, but it's almost like, and it's the thing that I always argue with Jed about, where I don't like my main characters being like perfect people. I don't like Deku for that sometimes. I do not like Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
And you're wrong.
But yeah, Gon gets my fucking nerves.
Wait a minute. Neither of them are perfect characters. What are you talking about?
They are. Everything is like, I'll do it for
your friends.
Literally,
he's not. He's just a good person.
But
he's
weird.
actively a dumbass.
Like him and Killua should probably sleep in a different room. I think Deku wants to fucking like, like
why'd you? You're over here just crossing series.
I'm just saying.
Like this?
Oh, I say Deku. I'm gonna say Gon. Killua and Gon.
Why are you like?
First of all, you got that switched around because Killua obviously is in love with Gon. If anything, and another thing, why is that a problem?
Well, it's not necessarily a problem, but it's like it's like right away they were that close. Like it was never a build. It was like
because he understood that he didn't have any friends. He only had like one person that I didn't even talk to. So he's dealing with his friends right there, and he's seeing this person who essentially has nothing, and his parents and family kept telling him he would be nothing unless he murders people. So he's trying to help him out. God forbid he's a nice person.
I guess, but it's like,
Yeah, you know what? God should just murder a baby in the next season, just so it'll be like, yeah, he's a great character now.
well, just have him like.
I mean,
can we have a day where Gon is like in pain, and then he's like, Killua, look, no offense, dude, I love you, but can you get the fuck out of my room and stop telling me what to do with my nen and my hen and my ten and my fen?
I mean,
like, shit. I'm just saying, like,
I guess we need to finish that Chimera Ant arc then.
yes, we do. I'm so down for that, but I also feel like even if it happens in a little bit, whatever, even if it's the next episode we watch, it's been 5 seasons. You tell me that 2 best friends, fucking me and Alan fight how many goddamn times? An
Yeah,
hour.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but
You do
Gon
know
and Killua never
Killua
fight.
and Gon like were fighting all through that last arc.
Not really. It was always like Killua,
Yeah.
like, I'm mad that you won't let me help you because I fucking love you. And he's like, well, you know what? I wish you could help me too because I love you too. But then I want to
Yeah,
get hurt.
Nick, you can't relate to that at all. You know, being mad at people trying to help you and shit.
But it's just weird. It's like, dude, like, leave me
How is it
alone.
weird? They're friends.
But dude, like, look, once again, by the way, too, like, you helping me or Ganja helping me or whatever the fuck, like, we're online, it's different. With them, it's like, let me take that bullet for you. It's like, you will die, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, there are monsters out there. There are people with powers. There's a
I
big
would take a
fucking
bullet
clown
for your
pervert.
dumbass.
Really? So, fucking that, what's that one guy, the clown pervert? I forgot
Yeah.
his fucking name. What if he came at,
Jester, or whatever the fuck his name is.
yeah, what's his name?
Ahsoka.
Yeah, Hisoka. What if he came at me and he's gonna throw a card that's gonna chop my head off? You would jump and let him chop your head off with the fucking goddamn card?
I would try to get you out of the way, and if I died, I died.
Well, that's stupid, Alan.
And you're stupid. My last words are gonna be Daredevil's blind, and you can't argue with me because
Oh,
I'm
that
dead,
would
so I
piss me off
won.
so much. Be like, you know, God,
Exactly.
motherfucker, God.
It's like, yo, you come back to life.
I was putting your head back together, like, oh, it's like, you're wrong, and then let go. And
You have to go back and get the Dragon Balls and go to a different anime to get me back just to continue the argument.
But no, so like in that sense over here, it's like to see Steven Yeun's character Mark kind of start losing his shit a little bit and kind of become an asshole. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, are you gonna become like your dad? Does anger management of superheroes land in your fucking family? Does it run through your bloodstream? That's a cool thing. I also like the idea that like you know, he likes some girl, and instead of any other superhero who's like, oh, I don't know, she don't like me, I'm a piece of shit, he goes and talks to her. And she's cool with him. And then, granted, he finds out that she has a boyfriend, but it's like they're moving it along. They're not doing the same shit that we've seen 1,000 times with these comic book heroes, where everyone's so fucking like, I'm not perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And even though this guy's not perfect, it's like, still, he has confidence. He's not like all those other guys. And it's like, that's realistic, and it's down to earth and the surface level, and I dig it. I dig it a lot. But, Jed, do you feel the same way that I do, or no?
Can
Okay.
you repeat that?
Just, essentially, just like, dude,
Because you went back and forth with Alan for a bit, and I was just like, what the hell?
No, all I'm saying is just like, you know, he's not like all the other superheroes essentially. Like when he's not doing his invincible.
Oh, yeah, he kind of is.
Awesome.
He's generally just like, okay, that teenager learning powers. Like he has the moments when like he's talking back to his parents, the whole like, oh, don't kiss in front of me, mom and dad. But he has to basically witness a lot of shit that basically normal teenagers wouldn't actually witness.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've seen that done before. Actually, yeah, like regular just superheroes in general go through that because a lot of them are teenagers.
I guess.
So he technically does act like, basically, in my opinion, he does act like regular teenager.
I guess.
Which is good though because he's written well. He's written like an actual teenager. They're not trying to age him up too fucking much to where it's just like that's not a fucking teenager.
Yeah. One thing I like about this too is just like what they do with the new villains, I guess, or whatever. Because Omni-Man, you find out that his planet is full of people who want to fuck with Earth. You know, I mean, that's actually a pretty cool concept, and you know, I don't mind spoiling it here because people probably have already seen this. But I enjoy the fact that, like, you know, in order for him to keep his facade up that he's not a bad guy who didn't just kill all the other superheroes, he has to fuck up the aliens, and we see him kill about 300 aliens, and then goes into a portal and then kills a bunch of people on their own home planet. And then his mom, or Invincible's mom, is like, hey, where's your dad? Oh, he went into this portal. I don't know where he's at. Oh, that's every Thursday. He'll be back. And it's like, wait, every Thursday? So have we been constantly being invaded by these aliens? And I'm starting to realize that there's so much on, you know, Omni-Man's plate that he might have a point as to why he killed the other superheroes. And I think that that's like the big thing where maybe there's something happening here where, like, and Alan, I'll bring this up to you if this ends up being a thing, but it's like, if we were in the same position to save the world, would we kill other superhero friends? I think I probably would. If it's gonna hurt my son and hurt my people, you know. So I don't know, man. There's a lot to be revealed with this, but there's so much shit happening too. It's like, fuck, man. Like, this is a really, really good combination of things, and I really, really love this show. But the second episode, oh fuck, DT stream is fucking up apparently.
It's been going for a while. Maybe it's a hiccup.
Yeah, we'll see. What you call it? And Emmanuel, he's saying the show never said about Omni-Man's home planet being evil. No, like I'm not entirely sure. By the way, I'm just guessing. I don't think they're actually evil. But the thing is, though, is like, you know, I feel like there's more to be revealed with that, so it should be cool when that thing actually kind of like pops up and shows. But this episode, I do think was a little bit more boring versus the first episode. So I'm gonna give this, 3.5 out of 5, but it's still really good. And it's like, yeah, like this wasn't even the finale of the first 3 episodes. Which, by the way, before we continue on to, Alan, do you like the concept of like when these streaming services come out with 3 episodes right away? Because WandaVision did this, and this did this.
Yeah, I think it's a good, especially for a brand new show where they're like, hey, we want to get people involved. We're going to give you a big chunk of the show and then go weekly. It's a good way to kind of get everyone involved. That way it's like, oh, what if I don't like, 2 episodes? I don't want to keep watching. So, well, here, get 3. Get Amazon Prime, get this stuff, and keep going. It's a good way to kind of keep it going. And it's like I said, like, you're telling me this stuff, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. But like I said, man, I can't deal with another situation like that. So I'll just wait for it all to come out and someone tell me, hey, is it ever going to be that crazy? Because if it's good, I'll watch it again, but right now I'm not.
Yeah. Jed, what would you rate the second episode? And are you hyped for the next one, or are you kind of just chill?
I mean, I'm excited. Like, I will say that I didn't like this episode as much as the previous one. And that's mostly because, like, the characters we get introduced to are kind of, it's not really their fault, I guess, because you come from the Justice League all the way to, like, a lesser form of Young Justice. It's kind of just like, oh, okay. I can't really see myself liking really any of the newer characters, but, I mean, that could change with the third episode. And so with that, I give that just a 3 out of 5.
Okay, and I'm glad we kind of agree there. And, yeah, like, I don't think that these guys, I like, to the thing that I said earlier when we're talking about the death, is, like, I can't invest in these characters because, once again, it's like, okay, if you guys are going to be meatbags by the end of all the storytelling, I'm not going to put myself through that. I'm just not. Fuck that. So, yeah. But anyways, guys, with that said, we're going to get the fuck out of here. Alan, why don't you tell people where to find you over there at that Metropolis Colette Ave? Alrighty
then. So if you follow me on Facebook, and I'm assuming the MooBot at some point is going to put all my information up there. But if you follow me there for the Metropolis Collective, the Illuminati is back for the next couple of weeks. We're still trying to figure out exactly how consistent we're going to be, but we are back. There's an episode that just came out. It's right on there. The Unionist podcast are doing their thing. I'm probably going to get an episode in the next couple of days. They've been consistently going on Sunday. We have a schedule up that at some point is going to be posted, but be sure to follow me there. Follow me on Twitter for more video game discussion. That 3-day Twitter war is finally fucking over. Bunch of right-wing assholes trying to support war propaganda, so be sure to follow me for more random bullshit like that.
All right, guys. With that said, we're getting out of here. Goodbye. Fuck 7 Days in Felicia. What's that shit called again?
It's 6 Days in Felicia, but yeah.
Okay.
Fuck that.
I said 7 Days in Felicia.
It's a story about the LA riots where you play as a cop, and we want to show sympathy towards the cops as they go through this tough ordeal.
I was actually just thinking like Felicia, like from Friday, like 7 Days in her. It's like, oh no. Anyways, guys, no, watch Friday though. It's a good movie. Cedric's wrong about it. Goodbye. Take care, and we're not gonna raid anybody right now, to be honest. So I'm sorry, but we might have to come back on and raid to DT or something. I don't know. So sorry about that, Ryan. Good night, guys. Peace out.